Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, you know? Just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me. Absolutely happened to me. I had, for years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hi, I'm Ashley Flowers, and if you're like me and grew up watching America's Most Wanted and reading Nancy Drew, then hi, you're a crime junkie. And I bet that passion for solving mysteries never went away, which is why we've assembled a team of reporters to dig deep into all the cases we still obsess over. Each Monday, my best friend Britt and I will bring you a case that you won't be able to stop thinking and talking about. So join us by listening to Crime Junkie wherever you listen to podcasts.
This week, in Vaughan, Mississippi, the disappearance of a well-known but possibly cursed local family prompts a massive search that ends up with a very unexpected, tragic, and brutal result. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy, yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on another insane edition of Small Town Murder. And man, this is a twisty, weird one, so
Oh, boy.
buckle up, everybody, for some Mississippi dirt. It is some fun stuff, some gross stuff, but also also fun. There's some grime and some humidity and some moss growing on top of this thing. It's one of those here. Before we get started, very quickly, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. What's there, you might ask? Oh, everything. First of all, merchandise, all the merch you can want. New stuff is up all the time. And tickets to live shows. Now, they're sold out up until August the 12th. August the 12th is Chicago. Come on out, Chicago. Let's do this. It's going to be Chicago. If you come strong, this will be our biggest show ever.
Is that right?
Absolutely. So we're very excited, and no better place to do that than Chicago. They've always
Chicago's terrific.
They've been there for us. Thank you, Chicago, for always being there for us, and we can't wait to do that show. And then after that, there's some shows available. A lot of them are sold out. Boston's sold out, but you got Dallas, you got Philly, you got DC's got a few tickets left, Atlanta, and Charlotte. Those are your options. So get in there. Shutupandgivememurder.com. You also certainly want to go to patreon.com/crime and sports and get all of your bonus materials there. Anybody,
tell me more.
$5 a month or above, a mere cup of coffee, and you can have not only the entire back catalog, 200 or so bonus episodes to binge on, but also every other week you're going to get 2 new episodes. And this week we got a good batch for you for Crime and Sports, which you have access to. We're going to talk about something that has nothing to do with sports. We're going to talk about a public access TV show in the New York area that was on from the late 70s to the early 90s called Stairway to Stardom, where people would go on. It's like a talent search show.
Yeah.
And they would go on. There's not a lot of talent searched, by the way. Mainly terrible people. And you want to hear an Indian guy sing New York, New York? We got you covered. Put it that way.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. And we're going to play clips and laugh our asses off and talk all about it and what happened to these people and everything. And then for Small Town Murder, prisoner dating game time, baby. It's back.
Boy.
That's right. I'm going to pick 4 bachelors, 4 bachelorettes. One thing in common that they have. Actually, 2. First thing is Jimmie's looking to pick one of each of them. Second thing is they are all incarcerated for violent felonies. So Jimmie's going to pick one of each based on solely on their pitch, their own profile on their dating site things for the prison, and then he gets to find out. Then he gets to find out who they are and what they did and how bad of a decision he made. So it's a lot of fun. Check that out. That is patreon.com/crime and sports. And then Your Stupid Opinions, our new show about reviews of everything from all over the internet, where we make fun of people's reviews. That is coming. We're looking at targeting June 5th, Monday, June 5th, to come out on a Monday morning. So hopefully that'll happen on the 5th. Yeah. Yes, if not the 5th, the next week, but I'm pretty sure the 5th. So let's do that. And that said, I think it's time for the disclaimer. This is a comedy show. We are comedians.
We are.
People will die horrible deaths. That's happens everywhere. We can't help that. We are going to make jokes, though. Now, here's the thing. We're not going to make jokes about the people murdered. That's not cool. We go out of our way not to make fun of the victim or the victim's family.
Why, James?
Because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags. That's how that works. So if that sounds good to you, I think we have a wild show for you with a lot of crazy stuff. If you think true crime and comedy never, ever, ever should go together, maybe we're not for you. Maybe not. Maybe we are, though. Maybe give it a shot. Either way, no complaining afterwards because you've been warned. So that's how that works. So if that sounds good to you, you want to hear this wild story, I think it's time that we all sit back, everybody. You got to clear the lungs, arms toward the sky, and shout, "Shut up and give me murder." Let's do this, Jimmy.
Okay.
Let's go on a trip. All right, shall we? We are going all the way down to Mississippi today. Here.
Hey!
Oh, yeah, Mississippi bound. We're going to Vaughan, Mississippi, which is spelled like usually, Vaughn. Put an A between the A and the H and the N. So it's Vaughan, which made me search around for how to pronounce it. It's still Vaughan. So I figured
that's how Vince Vaughn spells his name, right? Is that his name?
I don't know. I don't think
Who
so.
cares?
If he did, I think he would just take that A out. It'd be a lot easier for people to deal with that.
What about Mo? Does Mo spell? I don't know.
No, that was a regular Vaughn, I think. So this is kind of a little over toward the west, but kind of dead center of Mississippi. This is like the belly of the beast of the SIP here. It's about 40 minutes to Jackson, Mississippi. About 3 hours to Boonville, Mississippi, which was our last Mississippi episode, one of the expresses, which was the dorm room surprise, which I remember was a crazy one. This is in Yazoo County. Yazoo, which sounds like something you scream as you escape this county. Yazoo, I'm out of this place. Yazoo County, 662 area code.
Okay.
Now, Vaughan itself, the weird thing about Vaughan, it's currently considered an abandoned ghost town, quote unquote.
Awesome.
There are people in the around in the zip code of it, and that's what we'll give our stats and stuff from. But the actual town proper, the pictures of it looks like it's been abandoned for 300 years, though. There's all the buildings are falling down, collapsing. It's like, whoa, was there an apocalypse and I missed it? What the fuck?
It's like that TV show when people aren't around for 10 years
and
things are just all fucked.
10. This looks like 50 years from now, this is what it will look like. It's crazy. So it was founded in 1830. Henry Vaughan is who it was named after. He owned a plantation nearby, so they named it after him. Old Hank Vaughan. He was the place was established on an old stagecoach line. That's why they put it there. Now, the only thing that's happened famous here was the engineer, the famous railroad engineer, Casey Jones.
The baseball player.
The baseball player of Grateful Dead song fame.
Yeah.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
All of that.
Player.
Casey Jones, though, and if you listen to the Grateful Dead song, it's driving the train high on cocaine. I'm not sure about the cocaine factor in this.
Yeah.
But on April 30th, 1900, this is the famous accident that killed Casey Jones.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, absolutely. More than 3,000 persons in 1953 gathered to witness the unveiling of a bronze marker at the spot where he died. That's right. And also there was a famous ballad, The Folklore of American Railroading, and a postage stamp to commemorate the courageous engineer who was killed here in 1900, it says.
What made him so fucking courageous?
I don't know what made this guy so. There's songs. There's
Everybody knows the words, the name Casey Jones, but nobody knows the fuck it's for.
Never, right? It's so weird, but that's he's from here, and this is what it is. There was a Casey Jones Railroad Museum State Park that was
How do
designated.
you crash a train, though?
I don't know. You have to be terrible at it. That's what I mean. How much cocaine must Casey Jones have taken, really? How high could you be? So,
did you put a steering wheel on it and you jumped the track?
I don't know. So they had a little museum, and now it's closed and it's crumbling. It's fallen into disrepair. It looks like it. It looks like it's just being taken by termites. It's terrible. So reviews of this place. This is for the county, not for the town. There's no reviews of an abandoned town. It would be nothing here. Okay, moving on.
It'd be just dots.
Yeah.
Ellipses.
5 stars. Yazoo County might be a small town. Well, right away, what you just said makes no sense. The county might be a small town, but
we don't know.
Okay. Yazoo County might be full of small towns, would be a way to say it. But it has kind, loving people. Everyone looks out for each other. It's very quiet here, too. Well, I imagine. It's abandoned, so it tends to be quiet where there are nobody.
Not a lot of voices.
Not a lot of voices to carry. 4 stars. Wonderful neighborhood where the people are caring and look out for each other. So far, this county is a
common theme.
Is a town and a neighborhood, this county.
Yeah. And we all help each other.
We all help each other out. 3 stars. Don't blink or you'll miss it.
Oh, it's that small.
It's a street with nothing on it. Now this is that's the county, even the town's even smaller. This is of the whole county now. The only major eating establishments in our area are Wendy's, Church's Chicken, Popeyes, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Holy shit, that's a lot of chicken. Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, Pizza Inn, whatever the fuck that is. McDonald's and Subway. Local diners are also in the area. You've just described every small town in the United States.
Yeah.
Corporate
America reaches in.
Every single one. That's
robs from all of you.
It's just, that's it. 2 stars is the next one here. Education is not a top priority. Funding is allocated elsewhere.
Welcome to Mississippi.
Well, I have stats, too, from this.
Yeah.
And, hey, not sniping on the education thing because I didn't graduate from high school. So I am not anyone who's like, look at these
I sure
idiots.
as fuck shouldn't have.
Yeah, Jimmie by the skin of his ass. Neither of us have ever set foot on a college for any other reason, for any productive reason. Yeah, for any productive reason. Almost 51% of the population in this zip code where Vaughan is has a high school diploma. 50%.
50. Wow.
Wow. These are the stats. Out of everybody here, it's about half have some high school. Some have about 10% have no high school.
Didn't even go
at all. And the college graduates here is like 10%. So it's
unbelievable.
It's low. Now, people in this zip code, 1,293 people in the whole zip code, and not near really the town. It's about 40% married, which is lower than the normal. Some of these stats are hard to find, so it was weird. It's about 29% single with children, which is about 3 times the national average. The racially in Vaughan, it is 19.1% white and 80.9% black. And that's it.
That's it.
Nobody else. Yeah, it is just, it's a southern town. 46.2% of the people are religious, and by far Baptist is way the top religion. 25% of the people here are Baptist. Baptists are, as we know, the Catholics of the South. Can't find a place without them. And 0.0% Jewish. The unemployment rate is high here. The median household income is $36,484, which is lower by about $20,000 than the national average. Cost of living here, 100 is average, regular. Here it's 76. Housing is a 33, so that's helpful.
That's good,
median home cost here, $106,000.
Wow.
Not very much. So
incredibly affordable.
if we've talked you into it, I mean, hey, you know what? You can start a whole town over again. Why not? Make it your own.
I didn't graduate high school.
Rename it. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Rename it Small Town Murder, Mississippi. We have for you the Vaughan, Mississippi Real Estate Report. The average two-bedroom rental, which I don't know if that exists here or what, but this is in the zip code, is $1,080.
That's high.
Here is a two-bedroom, one-bath, 2,200 square foot house. That's a big house to have two bedrooms and one bath.
Yeah.
It is, to put it kindly, an abandoned murder shack is what it looks like.
Hell yeah.
It looks
2,000
like
square feet of it.
It looks like a whole family was slaughtered there, and then they closed it off with police tape, and no human foot ever set back on that shag carpeting again. And they were like, for sale. That's what it looks like. It's falling apart. It's terrifying. There's plastic bags over the windows.
Oh, no.
There is a tree coming out of the roof. I don't think that's a good sign.
What?
When nature has taken back the home,
the living room?
I feel like that's a bad sign. There's a tree moving in. That's not good.
I'd like to know where it's
roof.
growing through. Yeah. What room has it?
It's fucking wild. That is $28,000 for that, though.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
that seems right.
There's a tree in
It's got a tree.
Trees are expensive to remove. You know what I'm saying? There is a.
When they're outside, they're crazy.
That's what I mean. Just in my yard, they had to cut a tree down, and I was like, "Oh my god, are you kidding me? Fuck this! I'm gonna get a beaver over here and just hold it and force it to chew the shit out of this thing."
A little while, it'll turn to dust.
Yeah, eventually he'll saw through it. 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,200 square foot. It's on 1 acre. It appears to be occupied, which is surprising because it looks like just a piece of shit. It's a mess. It's very old. It's very run down. It does not look great. $110,000 for that.
That's the land, right?
That's got to be the land. Yeah, and the house is. I mean, you could live in it. It doesn't have a tree growing through the roof or anything, but
that's awful.
And then you know what? So you don't want to deal with any of these old houses. You're just going to start afresh.
Move in ready.
Start your own place. 66.85 acres. Just clear it off.
Just acres.
Do whatever you want. Come live next to, nothing.
Wherever you want.
$431,183 for that.
66 acres?
66 acres of land, which is a lot of land.
Let's pool our money and own it.
To do what with it? What am I going to? It's
I don't
humid
care.
down there.
Just
so
have
sticky.
66 acres.
Of swamp? I don't think so. You can have that.
66 is a lot.
I never want to go near any of it, though. That's the problem.
Just tell people, I got 66 acres down Mississippi.
It'd be like, why would be their first answer. It's in like central Mississippi, right outside of a ghost town. Oh.
Let's sell everything we have and just own land.
You pay taxes on it, too. Great.
That's a great point. I don't want to do that.
No. Things to do here. Not much, as you can imagine.
Right.
Here is a place that says they're in Vaughan. Just Ponies, it's called.
Oh, okay.
Guess what they have? Fucking ponies. It says pony rides, big and small ponies, exceptionally pretty and well-behaved. I assume the ponies they're talking about there, not the staff. Photo service available. So take a picture on a pony is something you can do. Or head out. This isn't right here, but it's somewhere in the county. The Yazoo Music Festival 2019. Holy shit, at the Yazoo County Fairgrounds. Oh, boy, let's do it. Well, would you like to know the lineup?
Yeah.
Here we go. This is the Yazoo County Jazz Band, directed by Kimball Funchess. They'll be there. An acoustic duo called Inside Out. Yazoo Gold will be there.
It's all locals. God damn it.
Los Brown, the Brown.
No.
Eden Brent. Forever Alicia, all with a 4 and then all lowercase one word there. Epic Funk Brass Band. That's going to be epic. The Bridget Hathorn Shield. Oh, that's it. Just Bridget Hathorn Shield. Charlie Mars will be there. Bruno can't make it, but he's going to send his cousin Charlie. It's your cousin. Hey,
it's
Bruno.
Mick's older.
It's your cousin Charlie. Remember that sound he was looking for? What the fuck is this?
I want it to be Mick's older brother.
That would be amazing. That'd be even better.
Yeah.
He's really old. Laurie Johnson, Vic Allen, and Selena Johnson will be there as well. Selena.
S-L-E-E-N.
I guess it's Silena. S-Y-L-E-E-N-A. Selena? Swilena?
I guess Selena.
Trying to be clever?
Dumb.
No. Now, no coolers.
No?
No tents.
What?
No glass. But you're welcome to bring your own lawn chairs or blankets and enjoy this marathon of shit.
A beer.
And enjoy
In a can.
and enjoy Charlie Mars. Covering both Bruno Mars and Motley Crue songs. Which would be incredible if that's what he did. That would be the best act ever. I'd watch that.
Playing Grenade in the stylings of Motley Crue.
I would love to hear. I'd love to hear fucking Smoking in the Boys' Room, followed up by whatever Bruno Mars does while he dances around and gets busted for coke in Vegas. I don't know what he does, but he seems to be happy while he does it. He always looks to be smiling and doing his thing.
Uptown Funk and that Grenade song, and there's a few of them.
Yeah, that's right.
Pretty
I guess I do. I guess I do know them if I fucking think about it that hard. I guess.
That guy's like 5'3" too. Did you know that? He is.
How would I know that?
Tiny.
I don't know that.
Man.
I know nothing about him other than he sings songs, looks happy, and got busted for coke in Vegas. That's all I know.
Yeah.
So.
And he loves weed too because he's from Hawaii.
Well, you just figure that anyway.
He's a singer. He's a musician.
Yeah,
of course he's on drugs. What are we talking about?
I don't care. Those are the people who should be on drugs. I've said that a long time. If you pull a musician over, he doesn't have drugs, give him drugs. He needs it.
Keep cranking out the hits, Bruno. Get out of
have you
here.
thought about heroin? Because Jimi Hendrix was pretty awesome. Say shit like that to people. You never know. I'm selfish. I want the music. I don't care. Okay.
He tried to kiss the sky, man.
Not tried. He said.
He did.
Excuse me. Pardon one moment, sir. Whilst I do this. There wasn't I'm going to try. He said, I'll be back in a second.
The man interrupted a conversation for it. Interrupted a fucking song for it.
Yeah. Hold on. So, crime rate in this town. Wow. Property crime. Very high. Yeah.
Oh.
Almost double the national average.
Holy.
Bad shit going on. Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime, more than double the national average.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's not good.
I don't want the land anymore, James.
No. There's nothing in town except collapsing buildings and apparently people just stabbing each other all over the countryside. I don't like this at all. This sounds terrible. So, that said, let's talk about a murder, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's get into it because it's just hairy, this whole thing here. Let's start out. Let's go back to a very romantic day, okay?
Yeah.
Almost 20 years ago, we're going to go back.
February 14th?
February the 14th, 2004.
Oh.
2004, which it seems like whenever we're going to talk about something that happened in this town, it should be like 1957. You know what I mean? It's like, right? It should be the Freedom Riders came through, and then something like that should start. But 2004, which is very strange. So
that tree in that living room was just a sapling.
It was just a baby. It just popped through the tile. It just popped through the tile with with a thought to go through the roof. So. Wow, that's a strong tree, too, because it had no light for about 20 years till it got through that.
That's pretty impressive.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So now 2004, think about this. We're talking cell phones, that everyone has a cell phone.
Right.
Most of them have cameras on them.
Yeah.
Social media exists, but it's MySpace and it's not on your flip phone.
Right.
That's the best way to describe it.
But your phone does have T-Zones if you have T-Mobile.
Yeah.
It was T-Mobile then. And that will get you news, and that's it.
That's it.
Nothing else.
If you have like 45 minutes, you could check your email, maybe. You could look at your email, but not actually open one.
Or type out a text message because you have to do the number.
Yeah, this is T9.
3 times.
Yeah,
to get to the letter.
But we all got pretty fast at that. But this is
we're pretty good at it.
This is flip phones. Every phone flipped at this point, man. This is what we're talking about here. So this era. Now, on this evening, a woman named Ernestine Banks is driving with her family. She's just having a good time here. Yeah. She drives by a friend of her family here that she drives by their house. Hey, isn't that their house there? Look at that. Yeah. And it's a guy named Michael Hargan and his wife Rebecca that live in this house. Michael's 27, Rebecca's 29. They have a 4-year-old son named James Patrick. Yeah. Nice little family. Adorable. Yeah, they live in this house. Everybody's happy. So they, as Ernestine's driving by with her family, they look at the house and they're like, oh, yeah, that's the Hargan's house. Look at that. Nice. But what they see when they drive by, get a little closer.
Goddamn door's open.
Well, the front door's wide open, which is fine. It's February. It's a little chilly for that. Okay. But front door's open, and so is the door to his pickup truck was open.
Oh, what the fuck?
One of the doors to his pickup truck, which, that seems, but it's not that odd. Maybe he had groceries and couldn't, you're trying to kick it with your leg. You're like, God damn it, I'll go put the groceries down. I'll come back. I'll fucking close the door.
But crime's really high around here, so we're going to stop.
We're going to do it. Well, I guess so. So they stop. Well, they stop just because they think, he probably is coming in and out.
He's home.
He's not only home, he's going to come back out, close his truck door. Else it'd be rude of me to not stop and say hi.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're thinking, shit, what if he came out and saw us driving away? He'd be like, you rude sons of bitches. No beep, no wave.
Honk or wave.
No holler, nothing. What the fuck, man?
Not a word.
Nothing. So they decide.
Ernestine's mad at me.
Oh, Ernestine. What'd I do to Ernestine? Rebecca, did you piss Ernestine off? Jesus Christ. So they decide to stop. They stop and they look and they see there's 3 vehicles at the house. And they step inside. They don't see anybody. They call out, Michael, Rebecca. Nobody answers. They're like, this is weird. I don't know if they called the kid. They figure it's just him by himself. He comes out with a beer in his hand. He's like, what's up? Mom and Dad are like doing some shit tonight, so it's just me here at the crib. I got a
Mom and Dad are naked wrestling right now.
Got a Salisbury steak in the microwave and just popped me a Coors Light. So if you're interested, man, cop a squat. The NASCAR race is starting soon, bud.
Want half the cherry pie?
Yeah. Mississippi State game's starting pretty soon, so grab yourself a seat, buddy. They figure the parents would be home there. So they end up looking in the house, and they're just like looking around. Hello. They get a little spooked, and they call the cops because they're like, no one's in the house, and the house is open, and all their cars are here. This is a little bit weird. Now, they could have gone for a walk.
Yeah. So, does that seem like a premature call?
I think it's personally for me.
Yeah.
Me would call, it's really got to be pressing. So for this, I'd go, no one's home. Maybe I'll close the door on the way out. You know what I mean? There we go.
In your house, fuck, man, a turkey could have pecked your door lock on your car.
That's what I mean.
Popped it open.
You never know. Anything could have happened. Yeah, there's a deer gone by. I have no idea. There's fox out there. They're sly. Yeah. Remember that? Pop a door open. Who knows? So
who knows?
But they say, no, this is, we should call the cops just to make sure that they haven't been robbed or they're like tied up in the, somewhere in the woods or something. So they call the cops. They are gone. They can't find the family. They're not in the home anyway. All their cars are there, though, which is strange. Nothing's missing from the house, including the 3 cars.
Just the people.
Car keys sitting up on the deal there. Rebecca's diamond engagement ring and wedding band are sitting up on her dresser.
Well, that's not normal.
So, and some people take them off.
Do they?
Yeah, some people, if they're tight, some people take them off for their fingers. Some people have weird.
Bitch, you better never
swelling. Well, maybe she's.
You better tough it out.
Yeah,
we're in this together.
There's about a week of the month when things get a little swollen there.
That's a good point. Yeah.
If you have a tight ring, you might be like, I'm taking this off tonight.
Yeah.
So just for bloating purposes. So anyway, that's sitting up there. There's money, cash sitting up on the dresser. There's guns there, like his gun collection in his case, and you know what I mean? So like all the things that someone would take immediately. Cash, diamonds, and guns. These are commodities that you can easily turn into.
Top threes.
Top three. Any cash, money, jewelry, guns, anything like that, it's the first thing you fucking ask for. None of those things are gone. So they're like, all right. They look in this, like there's dishes from the previous night's dinner are in the sink. The only person home, or the only being home, is the family dog.
Oh.
He's just walking around. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Just... Good dog. He didn't leave. The door was open. He stayed. He's just hanging out in the house.
Leave that door open? It's a nice wind.
So they question the dog. They're like, listen, dog.
What have you done?
What have you done with these people? Also, asthma medication for James Patrick was on, like, the nightstand of his bedroom. Mm-hmm. So they're like, okay, so they couldn't have gone far if they left all this stuff. Obviously, maybe they went for a long walk, but the night goes on and they don't come home. Which is interesting. So Stumper. Now, the cops, walking around a little bit, they decide, at first they were just like, I don't know, who knows? Maybe they took a walk. We'll wait a while. They don't really look around that hard. It looks like there's no robbery or anything, so they're like, oh, whatever. So they don't really look around. They just hang out. Then they get the flashlights out after a few minutes outside, and they're just looking around, see if anything's amiss out there. They see there's like a swing set play thing with the kids. One of his trucks is out there, sitting by. It's like, this looks normal. This all looks normal. Then they start looking over, and they said that they found some shell casings, which isn't normal, in the front yard anyway. Not only in the outside the house, but in Michael's truck.
Oh.
They found some shell casings that look like they're just discharged in the truck. So then they really get the flashlights and start looking on the ground for things, and they notice blood drops now.
That's not good.
So, and the blood drops are all the way from outside the house all the way inside the house. They lead from the outside. You could tell that's where it started and then drips into the house. So they notice all that. So they're like, okay, that's not good. Now we have missing people and blood drops.
Right.
They want to find out what's going on with these people. Have Michael and Rebecca been fighting lately? You know what I mean? That's one of those, like, this looks bad for a lot of people here. So they talked to Michael's mother, Diana Hargan, and she said she last saw her son the night before at her home. Mm-hmm. They came over the house, and he came over the house. I talked to him about 8:30, and she said she talked to Rebecca, his wife, on the phone at about 11:30 that night. Okay. And up late chit-chatting with the fucking mother-in-law.
No
wow.
You were just here.
They must really get along. That's nice. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro-laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out about Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So Diana says she fears the worst has happened to the family. She's terrified.
Yeah.
Which she's not going to go, oh, whatever. Obviously that's how you'd feel.
She can't say, they'll be all right.
Yeah, actually they'll be all right. Or I hope my son didn't kill his wife. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or I hope she didn't kill him or whatever the hell,
Right.
So state crime and scene investigators now are called because let's face it, I don't think the Yazoo County homicide investigation is probably the top tier, or, missing persons investigation is probably the top tier thing there is.
You don't think they go through a strenuous 16-week training course on missing persons?
Maybe, but like in the 40s, that happened. You know what I mean? Since then.
Their first 16 weeks on the job.
They're like, when we ever get a murder, boy, it's going to be something. So
orientation.
Yeah. So Diana said that she and the other family members spend the time once they found out that they're missing and she can't get a hold of them. She said they're praying and try to make sense of it all. And she said she's just terrified. So the cops said here, this is the Crime Stoppers director. She said, we've gotten a few calls. We want to put some closure on for this family. Well, yeah, we want to find out where they are. Are they okay?
Way to say it.
Are they not? The Hargan family immediately offers $25,000 for the safe return of the family.
Wow.
Just in case that someone kidnapped them or something. Who knows?
Right.
So despite the reward, there's only a couple of tips, but nothing much here coming in.
Really?
It's pretty rough here. So Diana and Rebecca's parents, Bill and Linda Hertz of Montana, that's where they're from, they end up immediately going on Good Morning America.
Really?
Oh, yeah, 48 Hours. All the news stations they go on saying, help us find our family. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Even though there's foul play suspected and everything like that.
But they found the right course already. That's good.
Yeah. The whole family's on board. The whole town's on board. They all think that this must be some kind of tragedy. So Diana said, we'll do anything we can to get our kids back, which that seems fair. So who could have done this? What's happening here?
There's so many questions unanswered so far.
Yeah, so right away, they asked Diana, has there been any issues between Rebecca and Michael, number one, because let's be realistic here. 90% of the time when a whole family disappears, one of the parents killed the rest of the family and are now on the run. That's usually what it is. So let's be honest here. So they go, listen, Diana, I know this is not easy, but have they had any problems? And she said, no, they've been happy. They've been doing great. It seems to be idyllic. I talked to him the night before. There was no troubles. Nobody was fighting or anything like that. So they said, okay, well, have you noticed if any close friends or relatives have been noticeably absent in the last few days since this happened? People that you would normally see or talk to, especially if something happened, have they not talked to you? Yeah, are they backing off? Right. That's a good person to talk to. And she said, quote, everybody's been showing up, all the family, all his friends.
And then the cops look at each other and say, then we got a cold-blooded motherfucker around here.
We got a real cold-blooded son of a bitch, or she doesn't know what's going on in her son's marriage also. That could be it all. So you show up, you have no idea. Now, poor Diana, she's got enough problems. She's in the middle of fighting colon cancer. And
oh, my God.
She has chemo every Thursday during this. So
Jesus Christ.
Kids missing, families missing, grandsons missing. Chemo.
She's got to go sit in a chair for hours.
This is brutal. They ask her about that, and she says that's secondary to what's happening with Michael. It's been a rough few years. No shit.
Oh?
It's been an even rougher few years than that once we tell you a little background on that family that we'll get into. They're known as the cursed family. Like they're cursed. We'll talk about it. So she said that family and friends are giving her strength. She said, we stay together. Law enforcement doesn't tell you much. It's harder on Rebecca's parents. We can tell. So there you go. Now they said the dog Bull was left behind. So that's weird. That's all they have to go on. They left the dog, left the rings, left cash, which they don't know if they have more cash, left the son's asthma medication, which seems strange if they were going to be gone at any point. And that's a big deal. He takes it twice a day, James Patrick. So twice a day. They said, quote, that this is a forensic scientist and criminal profiler, said that's a huge red flag. We don't have them following a normal pattern. this is bad. This is going to end badly. Holy shit.
That's some ominous shit, sir.
He popped up like 3 days after this is going on and said, this is bad. This is going to end badly. Holy shit.
This is going to give you guys nightmares.
No keeping hope alive here. Oh, my God. When you show up, bring your shovels. This is bad.
There's a child missing 6 doses of asthma medication. He's clearly got a severe case of asthma. In the South, where the air will fucking
strangle
murder you anyway. Yeah.
The air will cover your face and take you to the ground. Yeah. A big hand made out of pollen, like in like old cartoons with like bees would form shapes. That's what the pollen does.
Yes.
It's bad.
And it smothers you.
Oh, so let's talk about some people here. Let's get some background and figure out what the fuck's going on. Right now, we got a missing family, 2 missing people, almost 30, and a 4-year-old that are missing. So
right.
A lot of scary stuff going on. So let's talk about some people. Let's start with Ernest here. Ernest Lee Hargan. Now
we have an Ernestine and an Ernest?
And an Ernest. Ernestine's out of the story. She's done.
She's a neighbor.
She drove by, saw it. She's done her part. Ernest
she's discovered things. Yeah.
When I hear Ernest, I just picture
Jim.
I picture Jim Varney. I picture Ernest goes to camp. Ernest scared Stu. I picture all the Ernests. So right away, that's who I picture in my head, even though that's not what the guy looks like at all. So Ernest Lee Hargan is his name. Okay. Ernest Lee. Everybody's middle name is Lee, boy.
And the women are Lynn.
This is some of them are Lee too. He's born September the 16th, 1960. Now, as of 2004, when we started, he'll be described as a, quote, crystal methamphetamine-addicted cattle truck driver.
He's doing great. Jesus Christ. Those cattle are in trouble every day.
A crystal methamphetamine-addicted cattle truck driver, or cattle truck driver. No, I know. I say this because I know someone is going to tweet us or fucking Instagram, send us a picture of them driving a cattle truck while listening to the show and not on crystal meth. That's why I say that, because they all have a good sense of humor. And there you go.
Generally, yeah.
Generally,
Most
yes.
Truck drivers in general do, yeah.
Well, I mean, when you spend your life in a truck,
alone, yeah.
When most of your showers are taken in public, your sense of humor you have to, you know what I'm saying? You got to loosen up a little bit, I feel like.
When you wait for a gas station attendant to call your number to take a shower.
Well, you stand there with a towel in your hand.
Calm the fuck down.
Yeah, chill out.
A towel and a bar of soap.
Yeah. You take one on the chin every once in a while and you're okay with it. You know what I'm saying? You're like, listen, I take my shots and I'm good with that.
You have planter's warts on your feet from those showers.
No shit. I would assume you wear shower shoes if you're a trucker.
They better.
That's got to be.
Damn it. If you're not, do it.
Good Lord, I help you. You are brave.
You're going to be working the clutch with a stump pretty soon.
From gangrene, leprosy. So Ernest is born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on September 16th, 1960, but he spent most of his younger years in this area. Yeah. And his mother, Eva Heflin, married Charles Hargan in 1965. Now,
he was fine then.
Yeah, he is. Apparently, Eva had Charles not with a husband or anything, out of wedlock in 1960, which, single mother in 1960 was like, oh, the world is ending. I mean, people freaked the fuck out for that. So, that was a big deal. And then she married this Charles Hargan guy in 1965, and Charles Hargan adopts Ernest and gives him his last name, because otherwise, that back then though, that's also half for you, so you don't look like you have some little bastard child back then. Like, oh, I picked up some floozy and her bastard here. It's more like, oh, that's your son now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Which is that's acceptable. Just I didn't know you had a kid. Well, I do. Here he is. Yeah. Look at him. He's a good boy, strong boy. So, but he does. He marries the mom, adopts Charles, and they get married in February. By August, he's adopted. So they do it right away here. They had no other children, these two. Problem with Charles is stand-up guy, yes, but he's also a nasty drunk as well.
God damn it.
Who beats the shit out of everyone in this house.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Everyone within arm's reach, he beats the shit out of.
I guess he feels like he deserves it. He can do whatever he wants.
I own this child. I adopted him.
King of this castle.
Of this 50-acre farm, this is.
Wow.
50-acre farm in Canton, Mississippi, which is close by. And it is it's off the Mississippi 16. I guess that's the road or state road or whatever. So by early 1971, Eva, Ernest's mom, files for divorce. So she's had enough of this shit.
Enough.
Yeah, she said it's enough. But the way this goes, because he is technically Ernest's son, or he's technically Charles's son,
dad.
he's adopted. So there's no it's not step. So there's actual custody things that they have to go through and shit like that. So he doesn't just Charles just doesn't disappear out of Ernest's life. He's his father. So he stays in his life.
He's trying to stick around, huh?
Yeah, paperwork in the divorce said that as a child, Ernest was subjected to drunken rages and abuse by his father.
Oh, my.
She said Ernest and herself, quote, lived in fear of physical bodily harm because of Charles's drinking and all that. So, yeah, that's what they say. His drinking causes us fear of bodily harm. Yeah. She described the household as violent and intolerable. Now, he denied the accusations, Charles. He said, I never get drunk and beat my wife and kid. This is crazy. The court awards sole custody to Eva, which makes sense, not only because just,
he's her child.
But he's actually her physical child. So it would be really crazy to give him to this guy.
That would be fucking amazing. I'd lose my shit.
That's crazy. Well, you know what? Hang on to your fucking butthole, Jimmy, because in 1973, the court reverses its decision and gives custody to Charles.
What the fuck?
What is happening?
How?
Because the boy was living with him some of the time, and he liked it. And it seems like Charles also wasn't very strict, and I don't think was real on top of shit because he was a drunk. So if you're a teenager who lives with Charles, you can pretty much do what you want. Whereas I think with Eva, you actually had to do your homework and shit like that.
Mom maybe gives a shit.
Mom might give a shit. I think that's the problem. Mom might care. That's going to be an issue.
Maybe at 13 you get a choice in that state. Maybe he just chose to go over there.
It said the court reversed its decision based on I don't know.
That is unfucking believable.
I mean, it was 50 years ago, so the details of it could be washed away long ago here.
Share the same DNA.
No, they're not even the same, but damn it, that's my son. But Charles treats him like a son, just like you. He cares for him. He beats him. He does all the things he would do to his own flesh and blood, Jimmy. So by 1978, Ernest graduates from Canton Academy, which is high school. So he graduates high school. He does that. He's one of the 50% here. In February of 1983, he applies for a marriage license, but doesn't marry the woman. They get a marriage license, but they don't get married. Which is hilarious because you get a marriage license pretty close to when you get married. You're not you don't get that.
Day of.
Yeah, you don't usually get it 6 months in advance.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know what happened between getting the paperwork and with Sarah, I think with us it was 4 hours between getting the license and getting married. So
I guess it's you're supposed to get it, I guess, after you ask the person. So maybe
that would help.
Maybe he jumped the gun and got it.
Maybe.
And then asked, and then she was like, no.
I don't know. I think both people had to sign for it, though. They got a marriage license.
I don't remember if that was the case.
You need both people. I think it's like a submarine. You both have to turn the key on them. They can't just give you a license to marry someone without their consent, I don't think. That would be crazy. That'd be wild, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't. Can you do it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
You need to see their ID, make sure they're of age, all those type of things.
There's that.
Make sure they exist, who they say they are. It's got to be a social security number involved.
Go down there and give my name and my dog's name, and then go get married.
You can say I'm getting a marriage license for me and Charlize Theron. You can say that tomorrow. You know what I mean? And that's not doesn't mean you're getting married. They kick you the fuck out,
and then go ask her.
Maybe she's 6'2", bro. Get out of here.
Charlize, I got it. I got the paperwork. I just need you to sign it.
Yeah, come on. What's that now?
No. What do you mean no?
No. What the fuck? I got the license. It's right here. It's in black and white, sweetheart. What are we talking about?
Bayesian calligraphy. Come here.
Jesus. So 2 years later, 1985, he finally does get married to a different woman, though.
Okay.
Completely different woman. Jean Eva Geneva. It's spelled Jean Eva. Jean Eva Lynn Mowdy, which his mother's name is Eva. So, maybe there's something to that. Jean Eva Lynn Mowdy. They have a son in 1989, I believe he's born, 1988, named James Philip Hargan. So they end up with a son as well. So everybody's JP, James Patrick, James Philip.
Yeah.
So apparently the great-grandfather or the grandfather in the family was named James. So that's why everybody names their kids James. Now, they show that they are having financial problems here by 1993. They're having issues, including defaulting on a $1,281 loan from Tower Loan of Mississippi.
Okay.
Which sounds like a check. Yeah, that sounds like a check cashing place or something. Tower Loan. That doesn't sound like a regular bank, right?
No, it doesn't. No.
That sounds like somewhere you go with your car title in your hand.
Right.
Doesn't sound good at all. So they end up getting a divorce here in 1993 during this mess.
Oh, boy.
But the weird part is he immediately, by March of 1994, March 17th, 1994, he gets a marriage license again. Because I found this in the paper. He gets a marriage license, and he's supposed to marry a woman named Gwendolyn Alice Manor, whose address, by the way, is 103 Coon Hunters Road in Brandon, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Yikes. So Gwendolyn Alice Manor. But he doesn't marry this girl.
What is this?
He gets a license, doesn't marry her, but that same year marries a different woman. What is going on?
That's how he does
I
things.
feel like he gets that license in his hand and he's like, it's real now. Shit, do I really want to do this? No, I don't like her. But I do want to get married, though. I just feel it. I want to walk down the aisle, just not with her.
Marriage sounds so good.
Oh, but this one, I'm not sure. So he marries a woman named Lisa Ainsworth of Taylorsville, Mississippi. She's a veterinarian.
Oh.
Yeah, she has a veterinary clinic that she runs and shit. Like, he's well above his weight. He's fucking punching here.
Swinging.
This is ridiculous. Like,
swinging for the fences. That's what you got to do, though. You got to ask them. Otherwise, you'll never get them.
I mean, ask him to marry you. You never know. Shit. Give it a look, see? Why not?
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
I'm telling you. So there's a custody battle with his ex-wife that he had the kid with. Ernest here. There's a battle here where he is described as an unfit parent who has abandoned his child by the mother, by Jean Eva. Yeah. Now, at one point during the hearing, this is incredible. This is a child custody hearing. This is not a murder trial. This is not anything crazy. Okay. At one point, he stood up in court, Ernest, in the middle of a proceeding, pointed at the judge and shouted at the top of his lungs, "You self-centered son of a bitch!" to the judge. Like you think you're in charge of everything. Just sitting, like you just think you just make decisions that affect all of our lives and we have to abide by it or something. That's what you think, don't you?
Like you're presiding over my life.
Like you got some kind of power entrusted to you by the state. Something like that. Some bullshit, right?
Oh, high and mighty up there on that chair.
Wearing a
elevated
silk
above
robe.
us.
Think you're a pharmacist or something sitting all high up above us? Hell no, buddy.
Stop looking down on me.
You self-centered son of a bitch is what he screamed at me. Which is
the
amazing.
Honorable Judge so-and-so, you self-centered son of a bitch.
Which is, that can't happen often in this man's courtroom, I would imagine. So he was found immediately in contempt and tossed in jail for the night as well because you dumb fuck. What do you expect? So the judge, Ray Montgomery, he remembered the incident years later and said, that was the only time I can recall that ever happening. I told him... what a weird fucking thing to do. I could see getting up, yelling at your ex.
Right.
You fucking bitch. You fucking drunken asshole. Like, I could see that. You lying sack of shit. Like, there's a lot of passion built up between people in a divorce, but not the judge. And even if you think that of the judge, shut the fuck up.
It's going to cost you a lot.
People who chop up 30 people know to not talk. They'll yell at the lawyer. They'll talk shit to then the judge says, yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor. Yes, sir, Your Honor. Yes, sir. What are you doing? It's the judge. They can really have a lot of say. It's their decision. fucking
It's
idiots.
literally up to them.
Wow. So he said, I told him it was not an affront to me, but it was an affront to the entire court.
Oh.
You've made a mockery of the judicial system.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. In 1994, what ends up happening is they give custody to neither of these people, which is I didn't know there was a third option here. I didn't know there was a third, but apparently. And they give instead custody to, here we go. Now, Ernest's mother has died by now. Okay. So they give custody to Ernest's stepfather.
What?
And Ernest's stepfather's wife, who are
this state.
this is he's adopted this, and then this one's stepfather, and then just give him to whoever. Who cares?
That guy has no fucking legal guardianship over this child.
Apparently, he was the one that the kid stayed with a lot, and the kid liked him a lot, and he said, "I'd love to take the kid in," and there. There you go. That's
Judge is like, great, as long as neither of these two get him.
You know what? Terrific. These two are assholes. So next, you'd give it a shot now. You don't want to curse at me, do you? Okay, then take the kid.
A stepfather.
His stepfather, the father's stepfather. So that's like father twice removed because he wasn't even the first guy's real kid. This is crazy. I don't know what's going on. Stepfather number 2 is what this guy is. Unreal. So as far as Ernest goes, let's talk about what he's doing as an adult here. David Tadlock, who owns Tadlock Stockyards in Forest and Bay Springs, he said that Ernest worked for him for about 5 years and then left a couple years, left in like 2002 to start his own business.
Oh.
And the business ended up failing for Ernest. He's not a great businessman, but he described him. Tadlock said he was a dependable, talented ranch hand who was great with the children and possessed the skills of a master mechanic and electrician.
Oh.
He's one of these guys that has no formal training, but he's very good mechanically, and he's been working with his hands his whole life, and he knows how to do shit, period.
Those guys are so fucking impressive that can just strip a car and put it back together, and they just know how everything works, because some of that shit's very difficult.
It is, but the problem is when you mix meth into the equation, when there's any math problem, you look this plus this divided by that. If you put meth in there, the whole thing is now not going to be the same. It's not going to add up to the same shit. So that's the problem with him. He starts getting a little flighty because he's doing meth, and then he ends up driving cattle trucks. And the meth, he starts doing more meth to be able to stay awake doing his cattle truck runs.
Go longer,
Because obviously that's safe to have a methed up trucker with
I can get all the way to Kentucky tonight.
40,000 pounds of cattle behind him. Jesus Christ. Now, Tadlock said that he often accompanied Ernest to pick up cattle from Ernest's dad, Charles.
Okay.
Adopted dad, whatever. His dad. We'll just call him his dad. His dad, Charles. He would do that. He did say about this, about the relationship between Charles and Ernest, Tadlock said, quote, they were always fussing, carrying on with each other.
Fighting? Or like
no,
actually
that means
hating
fighting.
each other?
That means fighting down there. Fussing means they're fighting. He said, Charles said to me, my gosh, can you imagine what this place is going to go to once Ernest Lee gets it? It's like it was going to do nothing when Ernest Lee got it. So he was like, can you imagine this place is going to go to shit when my ne'er-do-well, dumb fuck son runs it? That's what he was saying to Tadlock.
When I die, this shit's going to go to hell in the handbasket.
By the way, everyone, and I mean everyone, calls him Ernest Lee. Not Ernest. Ernest Lee? Ernest Lee?
Ernie.
Not Ernie. Ernest Lee. That's what everyone calls him. So, yeah. Now, Tadlock said Ernest Lee was a hard worker, but, quote, he couldn't be still. Meth does that to people. So.
It makes you a little generous.
It's a real hear of a calm, stoic meth head. He does meth, then he just sits there stoically and ponders the world's problems. It's crazy. He figured out how to have peace in the Middle East, though. I think the plan could work. You know, I think if we sit Israel and Palestine down together, I really feel like we could work this out.
It's got a real malleable swagger to it.
Yeah, you know how it is. He said he couldn't be still. He didn't like to do the same thing every day.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys, which that I completely get. That's my...
That repetitive shit is so boring and so annoying.
I have a hard time with that. He also said, though, that Ernest was well-mannered, well-liked, and everyone in town likes Ernest. Everybody thinks he's a good guy. Tadlock said, quote, he was a cowboy, but he wasn't no rhinestone cowboy. He was the real thing.
Real McCoy.
He was a real someone in Mississippi calls you a real cowboy. You're a cowboy. That's some shit right there.
Not a rhinestone.
Not, quote, he wasn't no rhinestone cowboy. That's the
Right.
quote. He wasn't no rhinestone cowboy. He was the real thing.
Yeah.
That's how that shit went. So
Not some dress-em-ups.
no, not at all. So Tadlock said about the dad, Charles and Ernest Lee, though, they were never too close to each other, you know? Mr. Hargan would always laugh and say, I wonder what this place is going to be like when Ernest Lee gets it. So that's what seems to be happening. Now, by January of 2004, Ernest Lee is having more and more trouble with his dad here. So Christmas was going to be the big kind of either we're going to make up or break up type of thing with him and his dad here. That was it. And apparently in late January, Charles dies.
Oh, no.
He's old and sick, and he died.
After Christmas.
Yes. Now, one of the relatives said, quote, I do know that Charles called Ernest Lee before Christmas and told him he had until Christmas to come up there and make peace. So he said, you get up here and make peace with me before Christmas, goddammit. I'm dying. He told him, I'm dying. He said Charles knew he was dying, but Ernest Lee didn't come. He didn't come up, man. Didn't call him, didn't come up, didn't even say Merry Christmas, nothing.
What the fuck?
Let him die. And they said the whole thing came from something very stupid. The stepfather here, Glancy is his last name, Glancy, the stepdad who took the son. He says, quote, it was some silly little thing about working cattle, the way they were driving them. That's all. That's what this whole fight was about.
You got to put them 3 wide in the trailer, not 2 wide.
4, damn it. We're making money. I'm on meth, and I'm going to get as many there as I can. This guy also said that Ernest Lee did not go to his funeral.
Really?
Didn't go to his dad's funeral or nothing. Just said, fuck him. So problem is he maybe should have showed up at Christmas because 13 days before his death in January, Charles changed his will, completely excluding Ernest Lee from everything, giving him nothing. And instead leaving the 50-acre farm to his great-nephew, Michael Hargan.
Son of a bitch.
And his wife, Rebecca.
Uh-oh.
So that's what ends up going on here. So, that's rough. That was right after Christmas. He said, I'm going to give him till Christmas. He didn't show up. I think it was January 3rd is when he changed the will. So as soon as the office opened for the new year for his lawyer, he said, change it.
I'll hold out until then, and then I'll die on the 5th.
Yep. Now, the farm acreage was valued at $175,000, and the farmhouse was valued at $45,000. So that's $220,000 there.
Yeah.
But the property was mortgaged for nearly $177,000 to the
$50,000.
You're getting something to the Farmers Home Administration records there. Now, on March 6th, 97, back a little bit, Charles had signed over the deed of trust to the FHA for 3 loans all made in the same day. They kind of did a home consolidation thing. The loans were to be paid off by 2012. That's how that was. Okay. So that's how that goes. Now, a little bit about Michael, our disappeared man.
Yeah.
Now that we know he's got a farm now, a 50-acre farm.
Lots of farm.
A nice little house and a missing family. So he grew up. He's a horse guy, too. He's grew up farms and ranches. This area is a lot of ranches and farms. He milked cows. He rode horses and all that kind of
cowboy.
thing. Yeah, tons of woods and fishing holes and hunting and fishing and all that shit. Man, I just had a hiccup in the middle of hunting.
Yeah, what was that?
That was a hiccup. Hunting and
fishing. Gotcha.
That was weird. I'm not even going to cut that out because that was terrible. It's just my body. My body rejected me. I really want to go fishing, guys. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right. Let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable. And you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmie's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah, they're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad. Right. There's chemicals in things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, which is
it's great.
Amazing. Yeah. That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods. For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up. For energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff. And I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options. Nice. It's very cool. And you can personalize this portion and you can put filters on it. And get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder, thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Calling all dog owners. Your furry friend deserves top-notch nourishment, and Ollie delivers the clean, fresh nutrition your dog needs in 5 flavors they'll absolutely flip over. Ollie is made in U.S. kitchens with ingredients carefully sourced from trusted growers and producers around the world, with absolutely no harmful fillers or preservatives. With protein-first recipes like fresh beef with sweet potatoes, fresh turkey with blueberries, or fresh lamb with cranberries, you might start thinking, dang, my dog eats better than I do. And that's probably true when it comes to Ollie. Give your pup a fresh start this new year by letting them taste test a personalized meal plan with Ollie. Head to ollie.com/Wondery. Tell them all about your dog and use code WONDERY to get 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a clean bowl guarantee on the first box. So if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/Wondery and enter code WONDERY to get 60% off your first box. Start your dog's new year off right with Ollie. Start your dog's new year off right with Ollie.
So that's what he did. His friend here, or one of his best friends, Kelly, said, we used to ride this old car around in the pasture. It didn't have brakes, and we weren't old enough to be driving anyway, but we would use the trees to stop it.
Oh, my God.
That sounds like so much fun. Oh, I would love to do that when I was 13. Doesn't that sound like fun?
Yeah, but what the fuck?
The fact that they're allowed to do that, you mean?
Yeah.
That their parents would go, you're running into trees with a car, you fucking idiot?
It doesn't even have brakes,
Jesus
you guys. What
Christ.
are you doing?
They're like, I'm riding around that old car again. So
doesn't have brakes, but we got Oaks.
Wow. Used to use the trees to stop it. That's crazy. He said, we used that car as a fishing pier a couple of times when we ran it off the pond by accident. So they ran it into the pond by accident.
So then they just sit on the hood.
Then they just stood on it, used it as a fishing pier, which is pretty fun, I say.
Genius, yeah.
Not bad. Now, a little more on this family, and I'm telling you the background because you'll notice why in a minute here. It's remarkable, this background here. His dad's name is Dan Haywood Hargan. Everyone calls him Haywood, okay? Now, Haywood and Diana, Michael's mother, had 3 children. Haywood Jr.
Yeah.
Dan Haywood Jr. died in 1974 after only living one day.
Oh,
One day old died. So, yeah. Now, at the time here, he's born in 77, Michael, and his sister was born in about 1980. He's got a sister named Jennifer that's born in 80. So there's that. So they run a small grocery store in town here in Vaughan called the Fowler Road Grocery. So that's what Dan does for a living. That's how the family makes their living. And the kids come and work. The mom works there. Everybody works there. Now, a little bit about Rebecca. He met Rebecca while they were both attending college.
Okay.
They were both at community college. Michael was there to learn about construction. He was taking construction courses there, which is good to know. Good to.
I didn't know you could get that in college. I thought that was just.
Yeah, they have. There's programs they have because I know they have
Really?
construction schools. Yeah. So they have programs, and I assume, too, in like a more rural area, the community college would probably have some kind of construction.
Civil
shit.
engineering and shit like that, of course. But like the actual construction, I thought that was just, grab a shovel, motherfucker.
Well, I think it's probably like law school, like you learn all the laws and shit, but then like
Probably,
you have to
yeah.
for proceed. Like they teach you how to measure. They teach you what all the
Right.
tools are, probably
Yeah.
what all the tools. That way, when you go there, someone asks you for a tool, you don't go, huh? You know what fucking tool it is. At least you can measure fucking 3 4/16, whatever. You can do it. 3 3/16 will come out on your tape measure. So
Right.
she's going to school to be a physical therapist, Rebecca.
Okay. Yeah.
So they all said Rebecca was very independent. But everyone loves Rebecca here. She was when her mom went into labor, they couldn't even get to the hospital, and she gave birth in the living room.
Oh, Jesus.
So Rebecca's antsy. She wants out.
She is.
Let me out. A cousin of Michael said, quote, Rebecca's the perfect Southern belle. She never brought a thing to my house that wasn't a Southern Living magazine dessert. So a lot of pecans going on. A lot of
peach cobblers.
A
And
lot
shit.
of cobblers going in there. Yeah. They all said Michael and Rebecca were like polar opposites. They said she'd never been on a horse before she met Michael, and Michael grew up wrestling calves and running horses and fishing
Michael's
off.
Inseminated one.
Yeah, he's inseminating things. He's fishing off abandoned cars.
Right.
Totally different.
Sitting on the hood of a fucking satellite in a river.
Yeah. So shit. Eventually, it's one of those. It's one of those squire wagons, those old country squire wagons with wood paneling and shit on the side.
Yeah, it's got wood on it. For
Yeah,
sure.
it's definitely a Woody. So Rebecca ended up loving horses, and they even had horses. Rebecca and Michael, they had 2 horses, Cody and Diamond.
Beautiful.
Were their horses. They said, this is one of her relatives said, before Rebecca would have gone riding, if she went riding on a horse, in a black sweater and black pants. She said, the last time I saw her ride, she was wearing Wrangler jeans, a Carhartt jacket, and cowboy boots.
Oh, that's my
So
girl.
she got into it. Yeah. She said Michael pretty much converted her to Wranglers. And then her mother said she doesn't like to get dirty, but she would go ATV riding with Michael. And his goal was to put as much dirt on Rebecca as possible. That was the aim of the game.
Hell yeah.
That's very nice. They said she grew up in Missouri. I said Montana earlier. I meant Missouri until 1989. And then the family moved to Jackson, Mississippi after her father Bill was transferred. And a friend of Rebecca's introduced Rebecca and Michael, a mutual friend, at an August 1992 football game at Benton Academy where Michael went to high school. Okay. Yeah. So they said it was true love, the one friend said. The mother, Rebecca's mother, Linda, said, I asked her if she and Michael were dating. She told me, we're going to let that Michael thing go along. Then Michael started coming to our house.
I don't know what that means.
Go along? What does that mean? Like, we're going to let it unfold or it's over?
You're going to let it linger? I don't know.
What does that mean? That's a Southernism that I don't understand. Yeah. So either way,
let it go along.
He started coming over. So no matter what she said, the result was she went out with him more. So
sounds like something Blaine from Love After Lockup would say. So
it says, I'm going to let her go along. What does that mean, Blaine? What does that mean? But with Blaine, you wouldn't know if that's a Southernism or just a crackheadism. We know,
just a dipshitism.
Yeah, is this just a fucking guy who's done too many drugs and has brain damage speaking, or is this a Southernism that more people know around him? Does the person he's talking to understand him? Put it that way.
There it is.
There it is. So apparently Rebecca ends up moving back to Missouri with her family in 1993 to tend to ill relatives, the whole family.
Oh, no.
She said that I guess Michael ran behind the car. He was so sad when they left. She said he followed us as long as he could before he had to turn around. Very sad.
Probably kept up as long as he could.
Kept up. It's poor little fella. I just holding the collar in his hand. That's all I could think of. Poor little fella. Oh man. Well, you couldn't think no. Oh God, no. No. So she ends up coming back to be with him though, which is nice because he could use the support. Because on April 22nd, 1994. Okay. Remember I said they own a grocery store? Dad works the grocery store.
No.
3 men, Forrest Branch, 37, Ronnie Joe Wright. Jesus, that's a very Mississippi name. Ronnie Joe.
That's a very truck stop robbing name.
Yeah. Ronnie Joe Wright, 32, and James Wesley Jackson, 47 years old. It's a lot of age swing there.
Yeah.
Apparently, Ronnie Wright, along with Jackson and Branch, drove from Canton to Yazoo County, and Branch was driving. He said on the way to Yazoo County, they planned to do a robbery and discussed how they're going to carry it out. Branch said that he and Jackson had a gun and Wright didn't have a gun. So the plan was for Branch, because he's the driver, he's the wheelman here, to wait in the car while Jackson and Wright went into the store. Wright was supposed to buy cigarettes and distract Dad here, and distract Dan Hargan, Haywood Hargan. Jackson was supposed to ask for change, and while the cash drawer was open, Jackson's supposed to pull the gun and rob Haywood.
Yep.
That's the plan. So Branch said that all 3 of them knew that the gun would be used in the robbery, but it's not. They all made an agreement: unless he pulls a gun out, nobody's shooting anybody.
We don't fire at all. Yeah.
We don't fire. So they passed the store 3 times that morning, looking for the right opportunity for it to be empty. And when they finally passed by and it was empty, they pulled into the parking lot. Wright entered the store first, and Jackson followed. Branch remained outside, and he's the wheelman, so he's sitting out there. So he didn't know exactly what happens until he hears gunfire in there.
Oh, no.
A driver of a truck pulls into the parking lot in the middle of this. A guy drives in with a truck in the parking lot.
Yeah.
He said he heard 4 or 5 gunshots. He jumped right back into his truck, backed out, and drove away as fast as he could. Okay. He said he saw 1 male sitting in the car by the gas pumps as he was leaving. He looked back as he's driving away and saw 2 more males running out of the store.
Jumping in the car.
One resembled Ralph Macchio, and the other they thought was possibly. Either way, both very northern. That's all they could say. Yeah, it's a friend.
Another dark-haired friend.
They jumped in a Buick Skylark, a '63 Buick Skylark, and were seen peeling away from there, exiting the scene. They did have a can of tuna, that we know. No, in reality, it sounds just like that, but in reality, that they saw him running out of the store. This guy, the truck driver, drove directly to the county supervisor's office. He looked for the first official building he could find. Found one, jumped out. The call was made to the sheriff at that point. Sheriff goes and investigates. They find Haywood Hargan there, dead behind the counter from 4 gunshots.
Oh, God.
He was shot 4 times. You know what they got? You know what they robbed him of?
$12.
$114.
Sons of bitches, man.
In 94. That's not a lot of money.
That's still not a lot of money.
114, but it's gas money to get to wherever. That's ridiculous. So Branch gets arrested first, and he implicates the other 2.
Right.
A man who lived near the store corroborated the testimony of Branch. That's why they believed him, saying that they had passed the store 3 times that morning. Mm-hmm. This guy sitting out on his porch had watched them pass by. That's a strange car. Don't know that one. Oh, that's that same strange car. So they took. Madison County deputy took swabs of their hands for gunpowder residue and said only Wright's hand had gunpowder residue on it. It was located on the back of his right hand. So they said, obviously, that means he fired a gun or was right by one when it was fired. Wright's statement was taken when he was arrested. He admitted riding to Yazoo County with Jackson and Branch. He denied knowing about the plan to rob the store and denied they had ridden by the store 3 times. He claims he just went in for cigarettes. And he said that the other guy said he was going to buy a soda pop. And when he heard the gunshots, he was so scared he dropped his soda pop. And, oh, no.
They left, yeah.
Then they took off here. So They end up getting, for the trigger man, life without parole.
Yeah.
And the other two get life sentences with parole.
Okay.
That is not the small town murder here.
No.
At all. That's just
a part
that's
of it.
just background. That's some color. So
My God.
Michael is only 17 at this point when his dad is killed.
So his dad's dead.
His dad's dead, yeah. And then later on,
boy.
it's rough. Later on when he's missing, his mom has colon cancer. His dad's
Right.
dead. A lot going on.
His brother died when he was 1 day old?
Yeah, his brother, yeah. He wasn't, Michael
my
wasn't
God.
born yet, but his brother never made it past that. And he's the only son. So they all say that he is now the man of the house. Like he adopts his dad's role in the community, his dad's
Right.
role in everything. He's his
You're
dad
running
now.
a grocery store now.
That's it. He's his dad now. So his aunt, Catherine, said it was so much for him to take on after losing his daddy. You have to admire him for that. But that's the kind of person he is. So December 1995, that same year, or the next year, obviously, Michael and Rachel get married. Or Rebecca, Rachel, I said.
Rebecca.
They get
Yeah,
married. I said
Rebecca.
Rachel for some reason. They get married here, December 95, following a long-distance relationship because she was in...
Oh, because she was in Missouri. Yeah.
And then she came back, and they both graduated from Holmes Community College.
Okay.
Now, the grocery store,
Right.
rather than keep it a grocery store, Michael converts it into a home that they live in.
Because they already own it.
They own it. So
Yeah.
why not? So he converts it into a home because he knows construction. He's a construction worker, so that's what he does. So he converts it into a home, and they live there. That's their home. So they said one of the guys down the street said, quote, this is Jeremy Littleton. He lives down the road. Said he could remember buying candy and bread and chips in the store, and then it closed out of nowhere after the murder. Right. He said a few years later, the son came back and made it into a house and said it was a nice house. They said
house with a gas pump.
house, they had to knock that old gas pump out from in front of it. A house where cartons of Newports are still $32.95. It's set up on the window. So Michael is employed at a construction firm called Warren Excavation, and he's been there for more than 4 years at this point. In 2004, he's doing fine. Rebecca works as a physical therapy assistant at Tyler Holmes Hospital in Winona. And the couple and their son, they like to go out with relatives. They go out to eat with other couples during their free time. Rebecca's favorite restaurant is
Chick-fil-A.
Olive Garden.
Olive Garden. Okay, yeah.
She likes terrible Italian food. So
in '94, that shit was all the rage. Their cannelloni was fantastic.
No, it's nothing they've made's ever been good besides their salad and breadsticks. It's always been terrible.
But in '94, it was great.
No, still bad. Italian food still existed that was good in '94. You're acting like there wasn't Italian
Except
food.
Except in '94, it was pretty good.
'94, in '94, we didn't know any better. That was the thing.
That's what it feels like.
You didn't know any better. You did.
I think
I don't think
the
in the
vast
South
majority,
they still don't know any better. But
I think the vast majority of the country hadn't seen the Food Network or any great cooking shows.
You ever met an Italian person?
Or met an Italian person.
I forget that. You know what? You're actually right. I forget that we're in like 6 places in the whole country. We don't exist very
really
much.
Is, yeah.
It feels.
You may feel like it's every day to you.
Well, I'm from a place where we're very, very prevalent. But outside of this,
you may feel like Italian culture is every day to you.
That's what it is. But it's really New York, Philly, Boston.
That's about it.
Chicago.
A little bit in San Francisco, I guess.
Yeah, we were there. San Francisco.
Yeah,
used to be in Louisiana. Ran away from there.
The Gators chased you off.
A little bit in the Northwest in San Francisco. Drop of Seattle. Yeah. A couple there. That's Detroit, maybe. Probably a couple in Detroit, I would say. Yeah, because they had unions and stuff.
There, and then they were like, let's change this pizza thing up a little bit.
Yeah, that's all. So, you know what? You're right. What the fuck does she know? So, now their son, then they have the son, James Patrick, who's born in 2000. Yeah. So this is what they do. They go out, they go to the other, as middle of the road, just, salt of the earth American couple as it gets.
Average people. Yep.
He works hard. She works hard. They have a son. They pay their bills. They go out on the Saturday night with some other couple from the construction site to the Olive Garden. That's, you know what I mean?
Olive Garden. Yep.
And it's you can't be more normal than that. They all live in the house as of 2004, obviously. Michael and his friends said that Michael never considered leaving the area. He always wanted to stay here. They said people who live in this community wanted so much for Michael, but Michael had what he wanted. He had his family, and he had the life that he wanted. People like Jed Clampett, they were like, get away from here. They were like, you're smart. You should go do something. You should get out of this ghost town. And he said,
like, I like it.
I like it. Yep. He said, I got what I want here. Their friends said, you were just blessed to know them. Your life was just better having them around. Nice people. So February 14th, 2004 is when the Ernestine drives by, not Ernest Lee, Ernestine.
Right.
And they're gone. And like we said, asthma medication, rings, money, guns, shell casings out by the car, blood drops leading into the house, all of that shit. So once they get the crime scene, the state investigators in there, they found signs that pointed to violence inside the house as well.
Oh, no.
They found blood on the floor. They found a bullet hole in the wall.
How did they miss that?
Didn't see a bullet hole. It's 22.
Oh, okay.
22 bullet hole.
It's a pinhole.
It's small. It's small, especially if it's like up in a corner, if a gun got shot up that way or something. And they weren't looking. So, and also more casings, more 22 casings. So they have all the casings are a 22 caliber that they found outside and inside, all appear to be from the same gun. So we have a one gun scenario here. So it looks like one person is what they're thinking here. So the county sheriff said that law enforcement officials were investigating it as a missing persons case. That's what they're saying. But relatives are saying, no, it's a kidnapping. You should investigate that. They go, we don't know whether it's a missing person. We don't know whether it's parricide. We don't know whether it's we don't know. We don't know what's kidnapped. Yeah. We have no idea what's going on. So about 10 officers from the State Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks Department,
the game warden,
Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks, they searched the whole Vaughan area, including the Big Black River for clues, which is named after the Big Black Penis, which is a local legend.
I feel like that river is going to be impossible to see through.
That's probably named there for that for a reason. So the sister, this is Michael's sister, Jennifer, his only living sibling here. She said that the sheriff's office said that the deputies were canvassing the county in search of clues. She said they just don't have any direction to go in. They even had a yellow single-engine plane just flying around looking for shit. Just looking around, seeing if you see a family of 3 just wandering through a pasture, because that's what we're looking for, basically. The sister said, though, there's nothing for them to go on. They have no clues. No leads. Nothing's missing, so they don't really have. At least if one of his trucks was gone, you could try to trace that. They don't even know what they're looking for, other than 3 people you might have seen, hopefully. So they said that the weird thing is this happened on a Saturday. Saturday was Valentine's Day. By Tuesday, they allow the police finish processing the whole house as a crime scene and allow the relatives back in the house.
Done with the house. We don't need it anymore.
That seems wild to me. And then a few days after that, like 2 days later, Bill, who is Rebecca's father, Bill Hertz, allows the media to tour the home.
What the fuck?
So everybody's trampling all over that shit here. So there's an expert here, a guy who's a criminal justice guy expert. He says that blood drops and bullet holes in the home indicate foul play, and he thinks law enforcement should have kept the house sealed off until they're found, one way or the other. This guy says this is a great blunder. You don't know what happened until you find the family. Absolutely.
Right. You don't know what happened until you know what happened.
Yes, but somebody else, a guy named Michael Clay Smith, who's a criminal justice professor at the University of Southern Mississippi, he said that he thinks investigators might already know what happened to them, and that's why they're doing this.
Okay.
Which turns out not to be the case at all. They don't have any.
That's the only reason to do this. If that's not the reason, then you better seal it the fuck back off. And even then, you can't even now. It's all over now.
You fucked it. No, yeah. Once you fuck it, it's fucked.
Once it's compromised, it's compromised.
Yeah.
Right.
Once you drop some oil in the milk, it's not milk anymore.
Right.
It's over now. So they said that they're trying to determine a motive. They're trying to determine who. They still don't even know who did what to who. Right. Like we said, Rebecca could have killed the 2 guys and be traipsing through the woods right now. No idea. She could have had a boyfriend pick her up. She could be in Nevada. We have no clue. Well, Michael could have done that. He could be in Mexico right now with some skanky met at a truck stop and wanted to run away with. We have no idea. So they also get bloodhounds out there to scour the whole property, and it's a lot. So who saw him and who saw him when? Who saw any of these people? A close family friend who works for the family told relatives that he ate breakfast with Michael early Saturday morning, the day of the disappearance. This is important. They said that Michael handles financial matters for the man. He's not a financial advisor, by the way.
He's just a smart guy.
He's like, I'm meeting with my financial guy. So is he? No, he's a construction worker. He does all my finances. Oh, okay. Sure.
He's just a
why not?
CPA in Caterpillar boots. This guy's a genius.
Hey, I'll tell you what. It's pretty damn smart. He is. I'll tell you something. He handles all the matters, though. This is a guy who lives on the property that the farm property that Charles Hargan gave to him in the will. Okay. So that's where this is the tenant on that property. So this guy said, quote, they want to know what Michael said and how he acted. Just because Michael was seen doesn't mean the others were okay at that point. Maybe he just didn't know about it yet. That's what one of the cops says.
Great point.
Just because he was out doesn't mean the others were fine then. He could have, whatever. So they said that they need to eliminate relatives, close family members, and acquaintances as suspects before they can start considering strangers. They said, we need to know who the Hargans were and who they hung out with. They also said that they should be careful because there's a lot of talk that this has something to do with the robbery from 1994. Okay, this crime expert says you have to go with what's at the scene, not some fantasy. Now, the reason that is because the week before this happened, one of his father's killers was up for parole.
Oh, shit.
Okay, one of it, they were Branch. It was the Branch guy, Forrest Branch.
The wheelman?
Yes. He was convicted of armed robbery. He ended up going to parole the week before, and the other one's also up for parole like the next month.
Yeah.
And then the one is ineligible forever. So anyway, apparently Michael had gone to the parole hearing to
don't let
him out, doing a family whatever the week before, and they're saying that this guy, as they'll go into, is linked to he's a part of a street gang on the outside, and they think the street gang killed his family for showing up and getting this guy denied parole.
Wow.
That's another thing to link into this. So they're like, we have literally zero clue. It's anybody from the guy who killed his dad and his street fans to one of them to their. We have no fucking clue.
To a stranger coming through town, anything.
So they said they don't know. So anyway, this guy gets denied parole too the week before.
Oh shit.
So yeah, now they have a vigil. The family has a big vigil where they pray and sing and light candles and plead to God and everything else. The Reverend George Butler said, "Come by Vaughan, Mississippi, Lord. We need your help."
Come on by.
Hold on, I got a couple of things to take care of. I'll be there about 9:30. Is that good? So they search and search and search. The Mississippi Department of Public Safety spokesman Warren Strain said at least 3 FBI agents are joining the task force created to investigate this disappearance. It expands. Bloodhounds going beyond the 5-mile radius.
Yeah.
Surrounding their home. They're taking them. They started there and they're just going out as far as they can. They have local news programs and all this type of shit. The sheriff says at one point that dogs picked up the scents of Rebecca and James Patrick. They said.
Where?
They had a dog pick them up, but he didn't know where the scent led the dogs. It turned out to be nowhere. Turned out to be just stopping. So they don't know.
I smelled it for a sec.
For a sec, maybe, yeah. The problem is a dog's very reliable, but you can't go, you sure? Was that? You don't know.
Talk to me. What did it feel like?
I mean, I get it, but there's no you can't debrief the dog. He just looks at you and he's like, I don't know. What else do you want me to smell? He has no sense of the past, really. That's the problem. Do I get that ball now? So
scratch my ears.
Scratch my ears. Come on. So by the middle of the week, they have more than 100 federal, state, and local officers from 7 agencies participating, including the FBI, Yazoo County, Madison, Attala, Holmes, Smith, and Covington counties as well.
That's what happens when a 4-year-old is missing.
And the whole family. Yeah, they're just all hands on deck here. So Police, they have to talk to everyone in the family. They talk to Ernest. And he's one of the main guys in the circle they want to look at immediately because they said he just, of the property, the month before, literally a month earlier, he just got this property.
Right.
So they're like, well, you were the guy. Why didn't he give the property to you type of thing?
I know, you lost it, so let's have a chat.
Yeah, they question him. They polygraph him as well. They do all this shit. They search 160 acres that belongs to his father-in-law as well.
Oh.
It belongs to his wife Lisa's father, but they found nothing there as well. So now Ernest went out to dinner the night of February 15th, so the next day after the disappearance. He went out to dinner with his wife, Lisa. Okay, they go out to a nice dinner here, a nice Mexican food dinner.
Oh,
yeah. So during this, it must have been. Who knows? It's a sit-down Taco Bell though. It's the nicest one around,
nice.
And it's Valentine's Day weekend, so they put candles out. Now, during this dinner, before they order, he tells her, quote, this is what she says, quote, he said, I went to see Mike. Things got a little out of hand. She said, quote, I said, Ernest Lee. I said, Rebecca's going to be calling. In other words, like, you guys got in an argument, and now Rebecca's going to be calling me to try to smooth it over. Great.
Yeah.
He said, no, I got them, all three. That's what he told her. I got them, all three. So she then goes on to say, quote, he didn't eat. We ordered food, but we couldn't eat.
Huh.
Okay. Then she goes on to say that he, later on, she'll say about her husband, Ernest Lee, that he'd been sexually molested as a child and has some emotional problems. She said, yet he's intelligent and skilled and a role model for children, and he comes in and tells you he killed 3 people. You just can't understand it unless you've been there.
Fascinating.
This shit's wild. She doesn't say shit to anybody about it, though.
Really?
Keeps it under her fucking hat. So that's
Just tells the cops?
tells nobody. That's later. She'll come out with that. I'm just giving you the story of how it happened in chronological order. But yeah. So the theory is here, they think that based on the blood evidence, the cops think that Michael was killed at the home and that his wife and son were alive when they were taken away.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Possibly all in the same car. The Yazoo County District Attorney said, we're confident that Michael didn't leave the scene alive. So they think he was dead. Now, they go to Ernest Lee's house, and they end up finding about, Jesus Christ, an ounce of meth.
Yeah.
And an altered AR-15 assault rifle, altered to be automatic.
Oh, shit.
A fully auto AR and an ounce of meth.
Giant bag of meth.
Which you can't have 2 items and objects that should be farther away from each other than those 2 things. You know what I'm saying? You keep those things way far away from, like gasoline and flames. You keep those far away from each other.
If you own both of those things, you should have to also own 2 properties, one to keep, one at each.
Yeah, I go far away in different states because no, I don't want those things being put together at any fucking point. So they're going to arrest him because they go to the house, because they're searching everybody's shit. They're going to arrest him, and he's got to make an initial appearance in court on meth and gun possession charges. Yeah. So March 1st, 2004, in the early morning, they searched the home of Tony Moran, who's a local logger and an acquaintance of Ernest Lee, buddy of Ernest's here. Okay. Ernest Lee's initial appearance is delayed because they're doing something here. Okay, officials travel a mile down the road just past the Covington County line where they stay for the rest of the day. They block off the entrance to this Bash Blackwell Road off Mississippi 37 where this Moran guy has 27 acres.
Yeah.
News reporters are told to keep their distance from what they're doing. A few miles up the road, 2 Mississippi Highway Safety Patrol helicopters land in a field, and the people on them run to the search site. These are bad signs. At 12:35, a white van with a horseshoe-shaped crest on its side exited the road after having arrived 40 minutes earlier. The mayor, who was there, confirmed that the van belonged to a local funeral home.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. But Department of Public Safety spokesman Warren Strain said the funeral home vehicle was only delivering a tent to shelter searchers from the rain, which is actually not true.
Right.
It was there for a reason. Only residents were allowed to go on the road until late afternoon, when even some homeowners weren't allowed to go to their houses to get past the barricade.
Is that right?
They were kept out. As the day goes on, more and more residents come. Cars line the side of the highways.
Mm-hmm.
It turns into it looks like a street
party.
Street festival. Kids are playing tag and running. All the adults are gathered. Kids are playing. Cheerleaders are practicing. They literally had cheerleader practice on the side of the road by where they're searching for people's corpses.
Unbelievable.
Because everybody was watching. It was about 40 people there watching.
Yeah,
which is a lot in this town. They said this is a resident of Taylorville. She said, you have to understand, in a place like this, there isn't very much to do.
Right.
So when they're looking for corpses, you go take a gander, basically. She said, we heard they were going to pull some bodies out, and we wanted to see it. That's what she said.
Why would you want?
Why would you want? This lady, Jeanette Duckworth, brought her teenage son and daughter to watch. Come on, kids. Let's see the corpse of a 4-year-old, hopefully. That won't damage you or nothing. But God damn it, stop watching them movies that have boobs in them. You know what I mean? I feel like Jeanette probably wouldn't let her kid watch a lot of movies.
Priorities are a bit fucked.
They said that they saw were a few officers standing beside their squad cars on the other side of the road. She said she was hoping for the best. She was hoping they weren't dead and buried. But in case they are, I'm here for it, so don't you worry. She said, quote, look, I got kids too. I'm just out here because I'm nosy, her son said.
At least he's honest.
Yeah, I'm just nosy. Shit, I don't know. Residents say this is the biggest thing to happen here since a man was hanged in the 1950s, and then the rope broke, so they let him live.
That's what?
It's the biggest things. Remember when old Jethro, they tried to hang him, and they used that old goddamn rope they used to keep the donkey on the barn for a long time? Shit, all the weather, that thing wasn't going to last. That donkey was 100 years old. He wasn't running nowhere. That thing snapped. They just let old Jethro walk away.
Although that is a much better story. You don't want, a weathered broken rope and the man just gets to go home. This isn't going to be the same happy ending, people.
No,
You're not gonna be out there looking for bodies and they just pop out of the ground and go, tried to get us, but we're still
everybody,
alive.
we was hiding. Yeah.
This isn't hide and seek.
No. So another woman that lived up the road said, we've never seen anything like this happen in Smith County. We just want to show support for Lisa Ainsworth, one of the sweetest women in the world. These counties are all like intertwined. People from all these different counties. Ainsworth, who's Ernest Lee's wife, that's the veterinarian. She's a veterinarian. This woman said she took all of her pets to her veterinary clinic, so she likes her. Barbara Ainsworth said that's her mother, sister? Lisa's mother.
Okay.
She said that she lives on that road right there, and that she'd been able to freely go past the officers all day until about 4 p.m. when they shut it all down. She said, then they wouldn't let me in. I guess I'm just going to be stuck out here for a while.
That is not good that she lives there. That puts a tie to him to that road. That's not good at all. That's not
good. And on his buddy's property is the property they're searching. So about 7:45 p.m. is when a stream of law enforcement officers, local officials, and crime scene investigation vans all left the scene and let everybody back. So the bodies,
got what they want, or we're stumped.
They found the bodies in there.
Oh boy.
The bodies were buried in a 27 wooded area owned by the friend of Ernest Lee.
27 acres?
27 acres of woods, yeah. The bodies were stacked on top of each other.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Stacked on top of each other. Just some dirt, a little bit of dirt, and some rusted tin from a burned barn that was nearby. That's what he laid over them to make the ground even, and then just put a little dirt on top of that. That's what they found. That's how they found them.
Holy shit.
The mother was holding the son still.
Of course she was.
Of course she was. Michael was shot in the left side of his head. Part of his jaw had been broken.
Oh, God.
And front teeth had been knocked out. Okay, and there more than one gunshot to him as well. Rebecca was manually strangled and beaten over the head.
Oh, my.
Her skull was fractured.
Jesus.
She also had a non-life-threatening gunshot wound to her arm. which is like you listen to what I'm saying or you know what I mean? Little James Patrick was manually strangled with a belt, and his skull was also fractured, beaten over the head, and strangled with a fucking belt. That's disgusting. That's how they found these poor fucking people. Stacked in the ground with some rusted, burned up shed shit on top of them. Disgusting. A total, and we'll find out exactly how he did it too, a total of $100,000 had been offered as a reward to the case. Officials said they don't know whether anyone's going to get that at this point. Mississippi Crime Stoppers offered $1,000 for information leading to finding them. Gee.
A whole grand.
A whole $1,000. Wow.
One large.
Yikes. And Yazoo County officials said they would pay $2,500 for information leading to an arrest and conviction of the disappearance. Well, then.
Why is murder
Wow, that doesn't
so
rate at
cheap
all.
to them?
Fuck. Meanwhile, the Hargan relatives, a guy named James Bailey, who's just a friend of the family who owns the Brandon Autoplex, he offered $70,000 mixed with the relatives. They got up $96,500 for the safe return of the family. If they're like missing, kidnapped, bring them back. We'll fucking pay your ransom or whatever. Yeah. So he said that he had hoped for a different outcome, the guy who put up $70,000.
Sure.
He said, I feel terrible for the family. I know they've been through a lot. At least they found them and it didn't drag out for months.
Right.
True. Now, Ernest Lee, who's already, in deep shit for having an automatic weapon and a giant fucking sack of meth, he is now going to be charged with murder as well. Oh, he's going to be charged with 3 counts of capital murder, and he's held without bond here. Yeah. And at this point, the district attorney said he's leaning toward seeking the death penalty on this one. As well. He's being held at what they call an undisclosed location because they're afraid the town will rise up and come there and murder him. So, not good. They said that the family was killed and disposed of within 24 hours. So they weren't like held and tortured or anything, they said at least. The district attorney said, we've got an incredibly strong case that will absolutely lead to the conviction of Ernest Lee Hargan. He says, the evidence is basically overwhelming. We had everything we needed in our case against Ernest Lee Hargan prior to today. Our case was very strong. The discovery of the bodies in terms of prosecution of Ernest Lee had no dramatic impact on that.
We already had him minus the bodies.
We had him fucking dead to rights, fucked in the ass. Now, his mother, or Rebecca's mother, Diana, said that he, quote, he may have the same last name, Hargan, but Hargan blood never ran through his veins.
Jesus.
Cold-blooded, Jesus. It was not a Hargan that killed a Hargan family. It was whatever runs through him. I don't know what that is. I can't understand him.
Oh, because he's adopted.
Because he's adopted.
she's rubbing that in his face.
Yeah, Charles brought him in. That's what she said. That's not his. He's whatever mongrel fucking seed that he sprung from. Wow. So they have. So they're all together. Oh, that's Michael's mother, not Rebecca. Mm-hmm. Sorry. So that's Diana Hargan, and her and Rebecca's parents end up doing press conferences together and all that kind of shit, just to say. This sucks. Now, Jack Glancy, he is Ernest Lee's stepfather and the current custodian and guardian of Ernest Lee's Lee's child here. He said he watched in disbelief as all this happened. He said, I would have bet my life that he wouldn't have done that. Well, most people, I would feel like that. He said, though, he's glad that his wife is already dead so she wouldn't have to see this.
Oh, my. He
said, quote, she's better off not being here. That's a harsh thing to say, but it's true.
Yeah.
So some evidence they have. One is Ernest Lee's car, his 1974 Corvette they have that they've seized. Cool car. And a farm truck they seized from him as well. Okay. He most likely drove the Corvette to the house, and then they think the truck, and then transported the bodies in the Corvette, which we'll explain is very difficult.
Yeah.
And they said the truck was probably used to take the family to the woods where they were found. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Jesus Christ. They said we had information that we thought. So they said, how'd you find the bodies? And the cop said, well, we got information that we thought was reliable, so we went there. And they also were looking for the murder weapon, which they still haven't found. They said the weapon supposedly has been thrown out. That's because once they get Ernest in there, he's talking. And Ernest, before he even gets to jail, he's talking.
Is that right?
When he gets arrested for the meth and the gun, they know everything. He tells them where the bodies are. That's why it wasn't just a few people with dogs. They had everybody there because they knew that's where the fucking bodies were because he told them. He also told them where he threw the gun, but he threw it in the big black river, and they're not finding it.
And it's a black river.
It's a black river.
Shit in there. You're going to need magnets.
It's not happening. So I don't think they have that technology in Mississippi in 2004.
Magnets?
I think that's still considered the work of the devil, I believe. Right?
Yeah.
That's
the river runs where it turns black. It's downstream from where they parked that car.
That's what it is. It's just oil done leaked out. Now, the mayor, Ron Walker of Taylorsville, not even there, he's in Smith County. He called, he said he knew Ernest Lee. He called him quiet and cordial, and he said he knew Ernest Lee through Ernest Lee's wife, Lisa, who's the veterinarian. Right. She said, quote, Lisa is the vet in town, and she and her family are very well known. Her family is well respected, hardworking people. I'm sorry they're having to go through this. How about the dead people? That's probably worse.
Sounds like somebody's trying to game on Lisa once this guy goes to prison.
I mean, she's a pretty young lady, I always thought. They call Michael an easygoing construction worker with a quick wit and generous personality. His aunt said all you had to do was say you needed something, and Michael was scouting around to find it. They said that they doted on their son. The one relative said Rebecca was like an angel sent from heaven. She was always loving, always willing to help. They said that they called him James Patrick after the great-grandfather because Michael wanted to carry on the legacy because he noticed there wasn't a lot of Hargans left, and he wanted that legacy to start over again with this kid. So when they take Ernest Lee into court to be arraigned for this, Michael's first cousin, who is also his cousin,
right?
They're all cousins, so right. I don't know, second cousin, third, whatever the fuck it is, but his cousin Louise is there, or Louis, I guess. Yeah, I think it's Louis. Louis yelled as he entered the courtroom. He yelled at him. He said, quote, "You bastard, did you kill my family over the will? Come on, Ernest Lee." Which to me, that's the part that killed me. Come on, Ernest Lee. Come on, man. Shit. And he used the full
fucked up my Thanksgiving.
He even said Ernest Lee, even though he's shouting it. Didn't want to shorten it up.
Come on, Ernest Lee.
Come on, Ernest Lee. Now, how do they know anything other than they suspecting things? The fact is that when the cops arrested him for the meth and the gun, as they're driving, he said he wanted to talk to him right now. He wants to give a statement. He wants to say something he needs to say, so pull over. So they pull over in a Kmart parking lot.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to give some life advice here for you people out there, all
youngsters.
of you. This is for the young people. I'm not saying we know anything more about the world than anyone else, but if you're like 19, 20, maybe listen to us. We've had a couple life experiences.
I made some mistakes.
Made a mistake or two. Never, ever make any life-altering, consequential statements to anyone in a Kmart parking lot. That's never going to work out well for you. Never there. Bad decision. I guarantee you. If it's that urgent, bad decision.
Yeah. First of all, I dare you to find a Kmart parking lot.
If you find one, that's the other thing. It's going to be terrifying in there.
Yeah.
Because it's going to have all, weeds growing through the parking lot, concrete and shit.
In the blue light.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. So he pulled over, and he said that he claimed to have stuffed. He said that, okay, this is what he said. He said that when he went over there, they got into a scuffle, and he said that he shot him. He claims that Michael was still alive when they left the house, but they don't think that was true at all. So he stuffed Michael in the Corvette seat. Now,
in the front seat.
In the front seat. These Corvettes I know are very fucking small. These models.
This was a 74?
74. So it's the next model from mine. Mine's 71's the last year. So it's the next body style of mine, but very similar to mine. It's basically mine. Yeah. And by the way, I don't have I'm not some fucking rich asshole with a fancy. It costs less than a used Toyota Camry. This fucking thing. Seriously, a 71 that I got. So the 74s, all they have is the rounded back rather than my Mine kind of almost comes up
Square,
like a tail almost, but this is just like it's rounded down.
Less
Otherwise,
soiled.
they're very similar.
Yeah.
And just less stylized, more kind of smoothed out a little bit.
Okay.
So it's not a lot of room in the front seat, as you know.
No, it's a fucking airplane cockpit. It's nothing.
It's 2 seats, cockpit. That's it. The storage space there is.
Oh God, it's
you
a
could
little
fit,
bump
like,
in the back.
You could fit a large pizza in it.
You could put a 6-pack in a pizza. That's it.
Yeah, and you'd have a hard time. You couldn't fit the pizza actually because you can't get the pizza through the seats.
Right.
You'd have to move the seat forward
turn
to
it
put the
sideways
pizza
and
in.
hope it doesn't mush.
Yeah, it
Hope
wouldn't
it
work
doesn't
very well.
slide.
So
and then the
there's-
6-pack has to be laid on its side. On top
you
of
have
the
to lay it
pizza.
on the side. Obviously, Jesus, come on, guys, what are we talking
It's not
about
sitting
here?
up.
Not sitting up. So he talks to them, and he said he said he quote helped what he called the still alive Rebecca and James Patrick into the car.
So where
You
did
can't-
they go?
They all sat in the passenger seat together.
Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. You could only do that if they were not conscious or
If
dead.
they were all dead. Yep.
You couldn't stuff 3 live people in the front seat of a 74 fucking Corvette. It's physically impossible to do.
He pushed somebody into the floor, crumpled somebody in the seat, and dropped a baby on top of him.
Yep. He said once he got to where he was going, oh my God. He said that he strangled both of them with a leather bootlace.
Okay.
He strangled the boy and Rebecca. So this was totally his idea, by the way, to pull over and confess. The investigator said that the 2 other investigators, the people transporting him, were like, what the fuck, basically? What are you talking about? And he said, no, I want to do it now. They said he'd been warned repeatedly that no plea bargain's ever going to emerge if you give a full voluntary statement here.
Right.
And the one guy said, I told him no one's going to make a deal. Like, we haven't talked about that yet, so you might want to wait a minute. And he said that no, he wanted to do this. And the investigator said they were talking about light things. They were talking about college sports and shit, trying not to even get into it. He was just like, I want to tell you I killed the boy. It was like, what the fuck? So he said after arriving back in Taylorsville with the 3 bodies in his Corvette, he said that he had Michael in like upside down because he said his foot was kicking him in the back. Like he had to lean forward because Michael's foot was in back of his neck, dangling over, and then stuffed the mother and son in there too somehow. He said that he, on the way out there, he tossed the .22 pistol, then transferred the 3 bodies to the bed of his 1-ton pickup truck and drove to the burial site where they found them.
He was doing fine. If he had a 74 Corvette and a 1-ton pickup, the guy's got $200,000 in cars.
Yeah, his wife's a veterinarian. He'll get over it. Who cares?
120 probably, I guess.
Yeah, you need a mortgaged, an 80% mortgaged farm. Who gives a shit?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Who cares?
He said, by the way, he didn't strangle them till they got to the burial site.
Impossible.
Exactly. Because he said they were the way he was saying it was fucking ridiculous. He even added to that's how they knew he was telling the truth about the burial site and everything. Because he said Rebecca's arms were around her child when she died, and that's how he buried them too. Jesus Christ, man. He said that he never intended to use the gun, which he said he threw into the Big Black River, nor did he mean to harm Rebecca and James Patrick. He said after he killed Michael, he said he didn't know any, quote, he didn't know any other way to go about it.
Yeah.
He said they were home, so what else do I do? Got to kill everybody, I guess. He then also drew a map to the bodies, which imagine what that map looks like.
Oh, boy.
So do they believe it happened like that?
I doubt it.
Not quite. Yeah, they picked apart that a little bit. They pointed to the .22 shell casings and blood splattered all over the walls of the home. State pathologists testified as later saying that both Rebecca and James Patrick suffered head injuries that gave them skull fractures.
Both of them.
Yeah, that happened at the house. That would have left them both incapacitated and would have been lethal in what he called tens of minutes. So not an hour.
Probably dead. Yeah.
Yeah. They said that he strangled them anyway, though.
Yeah.
They said that he admitted to hitting Rebecca with the hand that was gripping the .22 pistol before leaving the home. Once they hit him with this information, he goes, "Yeah, I guess I did hit her with my pistol." He pistol whipped her.
Pistol whipped her. Yeah.
In the skull.
Broke her skull.
Broke her fucking skull. Did the same to the kid.
Right. To a
Jesus Christ.
4-year-old man. The skull's barely sealed by then.
That's crazy. That's fucking disgusting, man. So they said the prosecution's strongest piece of evidence is a statement that he made to them in the Kmart parking lot, and they need to figure out if that's going to be allowed into evidence. Yeah. That's going to be a big deal here. So the reason he gave the statement is what he's saying is that he said to them, hey, I'll tell you this, but I don't want my wife being prosecuted. You keep her out of this, and I'll tell you what happened. And they don't charge Lisa with anything, even though she knew about this shit the next day.
Not even obstruction?
I'm sorry. Technically, you knew about this shit the next day. You're an accessory after the fact at this point. I know you didn't do it all, but you kept counties worth of people searching and
working,
for nothing when you could have solved this. So she should be charged with something, in my opinion. That's just,
at minimum, obstruction.
In my stupid opinion, she should be. She should probably be charged with some kind of. I don't know what the laws are in Mississippi to that, but something. So, that's the big deal. But that was the thing, is he didn't want her to be prosecuted, and they said, yeah, sure, why not? They did say, the prosecutor said, sure, it's unusual how it was taken in the parking lot of a Kmart. Yeah, that's not normal.
That's bizarre.
On the way, it was a few blocks from the district attorney's office. Normally, we wait till they get here. We turn a camera on. We flick a fucking recorder on. We do it real formal-like, you know what I mean? And they sign a form waiving their rights. You guys just pulled over in an abandoned Kmart parking lot.
And he spilled the beans.
Like teenagers going to smoke a joint, and this is what you get.
And we were going to the DA's office to talk about a different case where we would slowly meander into this.
Yes.
Get some paperwork signed, and this is going to be a whole day.
This is going to be something. Well, once he saw they were taking his cars, he was like, uh-oh, they know.
Yeah.
So his defense attorney at the time, and we'll talk about him later because it's funny, he says, it's going to be a tough case, but it won't be as black and white as the prosecution is leading people to believe.
Yeah, I'm going to muddle the motherfucker.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. Now, what really happened from the evidence, they figure out, is, and what Ernest Lee eventually will go, yeah, sure. He arrived before daylight that morning.
4 a.m., 5 a.m.
Early in his Corvette and banged on the door. Okay, this must have been after he came home from having breakfast, though.
Right.
Because
so 6 a.m. maybe?
Because he had breakfast with the guy with the financial stuff. So he said that Michael had slipped his boots on to answer the door.
Yeah.
Okay. They got in a fight, apparently. Sure. Okay. This is where Michael tried to get to his truck where he kept his gun.
Yeah.
Michael was going out to try to get his gun because he had a gun and they were fighting. Right. So some of his teeth were found. Some of Michael's teeth were found near the open door of the vehicle.
So he got blasted in the face with the pistol whipped right there.
Yeah, and then Ernest Lee shot him in the head right there by the truck with the .22 caliber. Then he goes inside and stalks through the house because didn't know any other way to go about it, as he put it.
Yeah, right.
Stalks through the house. He found Rebecca. He shoots her in the arm right away to get, that'll get your attention, I suppose. Shoots her in the arm to get her attention, then beats her about the head and chokes her, but doesn't kill her.
Okay.
Just chokes her for a while. Then he choked the boy unconscious.
Yeah.
Didn't kill him right then, but choked him unconscious. He threw Michael's body into the Corvette seats, torso on the passenger side. So his legs were here.
In the driver's seat, yeah.
So what he does is when he sits, he just lifted Michael's legs behind him and sat him behind him as he drove.
Wow.
Okay. He then threw Rebecca's unconscious body on top of Michael's corpse and then stuffed James Patrick just on top of her. Okay.
Yeah.
Gets behind the wheel with his dead cousin's feet in his back here.
Yeah.
Drives 100 miles to Taylorsville. Ditches
100 miles.
100 miles. Imagine getting pulled over like that.
Oh, my God.
What do you say, even?
The chances he just took.
You just roll the window down. You put your arms out with your wrists together.
Yeah.
That's what you do because
I know.
What are you going to do?
This looks bad.
Listen.
It's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. Let me explain is not something. Get the fuck out of here. Let me explain. So he ditched the pistol. The Rebecca and James Patrick were still alive when he arrives. He strangles them both. He tells police later on that he cinched a leather strap around the boy's neck and walked away. And that Rebecca died with the child in her arms. He said, quote, "The baby didn't even cry."
It's a tough fucking kid, man.
Well, you cracked his skull, too, first.
Right.
He had a skull fracture, so he wasn't conscious. That's why he didn't cry.
You knocked him out.
Yeah, and he piled the bodies up, hauled them down the road to the isolated field, buried them together, covered it with several pieces of rusted tin. Yeah. So, obviously, people have huge reactions to this shit. Yeah. People freak the fuck out. Michael's mom, Diana, she said, "Maybe pride was our sin that caused this to happen."
Huh?
How the fuck did you make it that? She said, "We were so proud to be Hargans. This family did anything and everything for friends, family, or even strangers in need." Yeah, I think that's the opposite of karma, is what she just described.
Yeah.
I mean, I know pride is in religion and all that, but I mean, being good shouldn't.
We're too damn nice.
Yeah, being good shouldn't line you up for this, I don't think, in any universe. So,
do you think he said the baby didn't even cry to try to make them judge him less and think less of him being a piece of shit?
I maybe, but he by that point, dude, he was saying how he strangled this. I think he was just like, didn't even cry, like wanted to go. He was almost like, yeah, who cares?
Don't worry about the little guy.
The whole thing is very matter of fact too, his confession, because later on they go and they tape a long one, and it's just real matter of fact. Just did that, and didn't even cry. Like,
oh my god.
Anyway, when's lunch? He's real. Now, Lisa says this is bullshit. His wife said Ernest never expected anything from his father. The will never bothered him one way or another. So that's not anything.
Then why'd he do it, Lisa?
That's what I'm saying. She's saying I don't think he did, even though he told her he did, knew they were dead, knew how they died, and knew where they were buried well before they were found, and told you about
Lisa.
He did it. So there's an old lady in town who says, quote, "It's sad to know something like this can happen in a small town like Taylorsville."
Oh, let me tell you about 300 and something more.
Yeah, we got a lot. We got almost 400 of these puppies now at the Expresses. So she said, "We hope that eventually they could still find the family alive, but now the worst has happened." Yeah. Another woman here who lived about a mile and a half down the road a couple of years back from the Hargan family said, she didn't know the Hargans, but she said she always suspected someone close to them must have killed them. She's an amateur detective here.
I knew it.
She said, "I figured it had to be somebody they knew because there was no forced entry." Yeah, she's like a true crimer here. This is a true crime. This is one of our listeners.
Yeah, she's in the Reddit thread.
She's like, "There's no forced entry." Now, listen, I was looking at the spatter patterns, and honestly, I cross-stitched the spatter patterns just so I could get a better. That's what our listeners would do. I'd be like, "You guys are awesome."
I made placemats out of it.
That way I could study it more and really figure it out. We have smart listeners that would say that because there's no forced entry.
Every night we stare at the placemats and we all have theories.
It's good for the kids. It's fun. She says, "But I wouldn't think it would be a relative. That's kind of crazy. That's wild." Yeah. Kathy Atkinson was a woman who knew Michael Hargan. She said her husband did backhoe work with him when they were young. She said, "It's awful. I can't imagine anyone doing this, much less a family member." And she's one of the people who, when they were looking for the family, all the people in town had blue ribbons tied on their mailboxes for James Patrick here. She lives a few miles from the home. She said, even though Ernest Lee wasn't blood, he's still in the family.
Well, tell that to
fucking Diana. She said, Jesus. Now, Ernest's stepfather again, Clancy, this Clancy guy, he said they worked together at the Leaf River Veterinary Clinic the same day he was arrested. Ernest Lee was arrested. He said the last time he saw his stepson, Ernest Lee, was at the animal clinic owned by his wife, Lisa. Right. He said that at that day, Ernest was relaxed, working on his Corvette. I don't know what.
How do you do that?
Work he was doing on it.
Go out there and change out a battery or something.
I got a couple of plugs here. He said that, he used to take the family. He said that's the car. He said, quote, "He was joking around, carrying on like normal. That's the part I can't deal with." He said, "For 2 weeks, he was the normal person that I know." This guy said that he's not sure if he's going to visit his stepson in jail, but he said, "I will pray for him."
Okay.
He said, "I'm just kind of in shock. I feel more sorrow than I do anger. It's totally baffling." He said, I can't imagine a motive for such a crime, but probably drugs played a part in this. He said...
Yeah, and the family farm, man. It's obvious.
Yeah. Well, he said he drove a truck 2 or 3 years ago and he had to take pills to stay awake and he got hooked. Mm-hmm. So, they talk about that. But his stepfather says Ernest Lee could not have cared less. He didn't care anything about the property or the farm and didn't want it anyway. He says the same thing that his wife says. That's what I mean. What is it? Is it just meth? What the fuck? A cousin of theirs said Uncle Charles kind of took the place of Mike's dad, meaning Ernest Lee's dad took Mike's dad's place when Mike's dad was murdered, and Mike took the place of Ernest Lee. It's not the land. It's probably just jealousy. That's what this guy says, a cousin. Which
he's just a better man than him, and that makes him upset?
It makes more sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, look at him, and my dad likes him. He's,
right.
I don't know. He's not on meth.
Right.
Covered in cattle shit.
Right. I don't know. He's successful. He went to college. He went off. He left. He came back.
Yeah.
He's just the all-American boy, and I'm an all-American meth head.
Hasn't been a custody battle for any of his children yet. So Michael's mother, Diana, said, Ernest, when she gives the whole, again, reiterates in another way, I don't know what runs through him. I can't understand him, all that.
He ain't one of us.
He ain't one of us. Tadlock, the former boss of Ernest Lee, said, I trusted Ernest Lee in my business and enough to send him into other people's houses. He got along well with everybody. It just don't add up to me. But if the evidence is there, I don't have any mercy on him. He said, by the way, he never showed any signs of drug use while he was working for me. He was a good employee with a good work ethic. Did everything double time. It was great. No drug use.
Did everything real fast.
Yeah. He said that Tadlock hired Hargan to haul his cattle at the stockyard for 4 straight years. He said, I couldn't see any flaw in anything he did. If he liked you, he'd do anything in the world for you. Mm-hmm. This seems to be a complete aberration in his personality, right. And just one day he did this out of nowhere. Right. But to be able to kill a child,
dude, that's a lot.
Cold-bloodedly,
yeah,
bro, this isn't just I got mad, so I shot him a couple times and said, oh, shit, and then ran away. That I could go, fuck, maybe you were just pissed, you were on meth, there was a fight, your adrenaline was going. But then to go, where's that wife and kid? You're a sick fuck at that point.
And do it so close and up, like... barehanded. Did he bring only 1 bullet? 2 bullets? What the fuck, man?
Yeah, he shot her in the arm, and then I don't know what the fucking deal was. I guess he figured it was easier to strangle, less loud. I don't know. Another woman who knew Ernest Lee called the allegations unbelievable and said, this is not the Ernest Lee I remember. Well, I hope not. Yeah. What would it be? That's just like I remember him, killing kids, bashing women's skulls in. That's just how I remember him. Yep, he's doing that for years. The fuck? Another cousin said it's mixed emotions because even though he's not a blood relative, he was still considered a member of our family. It's hard for me to say whether I would want him put to death or not. That's the other thing. These are all his relatives, their relatives. So the farm goes on here anyway. A bunch of people, not only in the family, but in the town, just start working their farm for them.
Really?
Just start working Michael and Rebecca's farm because no one else is there to do it. So one person says there's no way to single out any one person. It just makes you feel so good to know there are still some good people in the world. There may be a lot of bad people in the world too, but right now I know more good than bad. So they said they were taking over his work on the farm. They said, we're feeding the cows, baling hay. There's fences that need fixing, and we have to help with the work. So they just dove in and said, everybody take a little piece of this deal here.
That's a shitload of work to do.
Yeah. They were worried also about Michael's grandmother, I guess, hasn't been in good health either, and she's been kind of shaky now since everybody disappeared. She's been in worse health. It hasn't been going well for them. So Ernest is assigned an attorney here. Okay, they assign him Wesley Evans to represent him. Now, because they do that a lot, there's a pool of attorneys where they are assigned to them. So Evans said that he was surprised to learn about this while watching television that night, that he had been appointed. No one even called him to tell him he was watching TV and said, this guy. And he's like, that's me, fuck.
Nobody tell him he's going to be furious.
I have to work tomorrow now? This is bullshit. He said he would rather not handle such a high-profile case,
sure,
not his style. He said, I really don't. A lot of lawyers would be like, awesome profile, but he's like, no, I'm kind of a low-key guy. He said, I don't really like it, but hey, it goes with the job. I'd rather keep a low profile. That's my personal preference. I'm not really concerned about publicity. I just want to make sure my client gets good representation. Yes. So before the trial can begin, because there's like a year delay, obviously, with everything, Diana dies, Michael's mother.
Oh, damn it.
Dies of colon cancer here. So that's brutal. Michael's sister, Jennifer, here says, quote, God has a weird way of working sometimes. She said, but we're strong enough to get through it, saying it was terrible her mother didn't get to see the end of this. Now, they're talking about the death penalty, but they're worried no one in town will vote for the death penalty, or no one in the county, because they haven't done it in a long time down in this area. So they
triple murder with a 4-year-old seems to be right up the alley.
That's the thing. That's the thing they said. James Patrick's death is the one that really pisses people off, because that's not necessary. He's 4.
Right.
He
has nothing to do with this.
No, he could have just closed his door to his room and he wouldn't have known shit. Like, this is disgusting. So here's a woman of Taylorsville, Marie Autry, just a nice Christian woman from Taylorsville. Yeah. She said, take a baby's life? He didn't even get a chance to see any life. Ernest Lee didn't have any feeling at all. He should definitely get the death penalty.
Okay.
That's what a lot of people feel.
There's the foreman.
And Rebecca's uncle is a Catholic priest, though.
Oh.
And he spoke against capital punishment for Ernest Lee because he doesn't believe in it, period. Yeah. So there was that. He said that the district attorney did say that if the family as a whole makes a request to not do the death penalty, he will honor it. He'll listen to the family. Yeah. But he said they have not come to me with that. I certainly appreciate and understand the Catholic Church's position with regard to the death penalty. My prosecution cannot be determined by the desires of the Catholic Church and will not be.
Yeah, it's just to the laws of the state, not just the fucking church.
Yeah, which are determined by the desires of the evangelical church. Duh, right. Jesus, this is Mississippi. Our laws are made by that church, not yours. Stupid. You can go back to Boston with all that shit.
Yeah, we are governed by bloodthirsty evangelicals down here. Thank you very much.
That's right, feller. It's a joke, obviously. Don't fucking be offended by that. Jesus Christ. If you got this far and that offends you, you're a sick fuck. I'll tell you that right now. They strangled a 4-year-old. That's all fine. Hey, don't make a joke about me. No, that's bullshit. You know you're wrong if that's what you're thinking right now. So
ask Harry Connick's dad about it.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Exactly. It's that shit. So
yeah.
It's fine. I mean, this is one of those that would cause a lot of anger and a lot of people. Boy. You could get people who don't believe in the death penalty are as, fucking granola hippie as you can. Yeah. You go, he broke the skull of his 4-year-old, strangled him with a fucking lace, stuffed him on top of his mother. So you'd go, I'll kill that motherfucker myself. It's just one of those things. You're pissed at this guy.
Again, and threw him in a hole. Like the amount of vitriol he took out on this child is crazy.
That's the thing. But they said, though, they don't know because quote, we haven't had any real bad killings here like what happened in a lot of states, one of the residents said. So they said the people in Yazoo County are fairly level-headed and objective, and I think they'd be willing to listen to the evidence and respond accordingly. They said, this is another resident. I think just murdering Michael was absolutely uncalled for, but the entire family was just too much. Yeah. Wow, hot take. That was just over the line. He said, I'm normally very lenient, and I guess I just feel strongly about this young community-minded couple that was well-liked in the community. It's just a tragedy. See, that's what I mean. People who are normally against it be like, oh, but what he did to that fucking kid, I'd like to bash his skull in. I really would. Yeah. This one person here said that a lot of people in the area that he's talked to really want to see him get the death penalty. He said, not only are they for the death penalty, they're for torture before the death penalty. So during all this, Lisa divorces Ernest Lee.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Which is hilarious because she was fine with it when they were at dinner.
Right. Yeah. While they ate whatever the fuck they ate.
Sitting at El Pollo Loco having a fine time. And then, so Lisa divorces him. The trial comes up here. The jury is a jury of 9 women and 3 men. 9 9 women and a dead 4-year-old, sir. You are in bad shape. And the men, too. They're going to want to kill you themselves, too. But the 9 women are going to really be pissed off at you. So,
well, the thing is, that women and children are things that you generally
they get off the boat first.
Yeah, right. You let them.
You
But he doesn't. He has zero regard for anybody. The husband, the women, and the children. Everybody's in danger around him.
That's what's especially a 4-year-old is wild.
Right.
So they let his Kmart statement be taken in, which then allows them to also allow his later tape statement in as well, because that was all the same thing. So he's fucked, basically.
Yeah,
the district attorney says, quote, Michael was beaten all over his body from head to toe. He had bruises all fucking over him. They said that Ernest Lee began to sob and buried his face in his hands as they described the child's murder.
Uh-huh.
Oh, now he's sad about it.
I think he did say he didn't cry to try to make him. I really believe it.
Maybe, yeah. He said that the guy on the stand said that Hargan told them that the baby didn't even cry, and that was the jury was like,
what the fuck?
They said autopsy results to be admitted into evidence show this child's skull was also fractured, evidence of the brutality of the killings. The district attorney entered 2 wills into evidence, one from 1995, in which Charles named Ernest Lee the beneficiary, then the revised will saying, oh, wait, never mind, give it to him. This is for motive purposes here. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation agent Stan Sisk testified that Ernest Lee Hargan told officers he shot him and then led investigators to the body. It's really, really, really hard to say you didn't do it after you led them to the fucking body.
And told them you did it.
Oh, no, here's a map he drew in crayon on the back of a Denny's placemat. It's fucking, he did it. One of their cousins here, Will Alexander, he is a cousin, first cousin of Michael and second cousin of Ernest Lee.
Mm-hmm.
He testified that Michael idolized Ernest Lee growing up.
Oh, God.
Because he's older than him. He's a few years older than, he's 17 years older than him. He thought he was cool. You know what I mean? When he was a kid, he was a young man. He probably thought he was a cool guy. Yeah. They said that another one, Leanne Hargan, who is Michael's first cousin, said she was not in favor of the death penalty before the trial started, but it's changed when she saw the pictures of the family buried there. She said he covered them with tin and left them there to rot.
Yeah, that corrugated shit tin that people use as roofs out there.
Fucking rusty,
that's
too.
That's what they threw on top of these bodies. That's
disgusting.
He discarded them. He did not bury them.
No, he discarded them. Exactly. Yep. Great way to put it. And the hole was probably already there, for Christ's sake. He's lazy. Lazy. Where's a good meth head? At least dig a hole, for Christ's sake. So the defense. What do you do if you're the defense attorney here? You go, Jesus.
Oh, boy.
All right. You got to pump yourself up. Come on, guys. We can do this.
Movement you've made till now.
He's like, why'd I go to law school? I could have done so many other things. Medical school. I mean, there's a lot. Law school. Fucking idiot.
I could have a jingle on afternoon TV chasing ambulances. That'd be better than this shit.
Should have went to massage therapy school. That would have been, at least I wouldn't have to deal with this.
Massage Envy has relaxing music.
It's better than this. It has to be. This sucks. I got to talk about this shit and convince people he didn't kill a 4-year-old. This fucking blows. So the defense, they argue, number one, that the confession was coerced.
Oh?
It's in a parking lot in a Kmart. How can that be voluntary?
Who knows what they said to him?
Yeah, you don't know what happens in a Kmart parking lot. If it was Best Buy, I could give it to you, but I can't with Kmart. Sorry. He said that maybe they could have proven, they were trying to prove that something illegal occurred that would have made the confession inadmissible, but it didn't work. So they also went on to argue that the week before the family was murdered, Michael had gone to the parole hearing for Forrest Branch, one of his father's killers. They argued that Branch was a highly regarded member of a street gang, and that Michael's quest to keep him behind bars and the parole board's ultimate decision not to grant Branch parole, that's probably the cause of the murders. They probably did it, you know. Defense attorney also argued that Hargan, Ernest Lee, had been coerced to tell the investigators he killed the family. He said that Michael Hargan's father was killed on the same site a decade earlier when the building was a store. And then you think it's a coincidence that days before he's killed, he goes to the parole hearing for the man who killed his father in that exact spot? They knew where to go.
Yeah, but he knew where they were at.
He knew where to go. You know what? What I'm going to need you to do here, Jerry, is there's certain things you've heard. I don't want you to forget about those for a minute and listen to what I have to say. And ignore the drawing. Ignore how he knew all the wounds and exactly what happened. And the child was strangled twice, once with his hands and once with a belt. Just ignore all of that. That... inconsequential. Isn't this a cooler story, though? They're pissed because he went to a parole hearing. So the gang is the, quote, Black Gangsta Disciples. So the Black Gangsta Disciples came to the Hargan house, kidnapped them all, drove to this remote location because the Black Gangsta Disciples know the rural fucking back streets where people's farms are real well, as all street gangs do. Yeah. And buried him. It's a much cooler story, isn't it? Doesn't that
sounds like the plot to a summer blockbuster is what it sounds like.
Doesn't that sound fun? Doesn't that sound more fun than a guy upset about a will? Who wants that? Pick your own narrative, everybody. Choose your own adventure. Fuck it. I don't care. Turn to page 38.
Sounds like something I'm going to call Blockbuster and ask if they've gotten stock.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. That says Tupac in that?
I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Was Tupac in that, or was that the one with the guy from Onyx? Which one was it? Yeah.
Is that Steven Seagal, or is that a Tupac movie?
Yeah, I can't remember. Which one? So investigators said they found no evidence connecting that convict or the Black Gangsta Disciples or anything to do with those people, that group of people with the murders here, and they have long ruled them out as suspects. So they said that the defense attorney said law enforcement officers received tips. These are just phone tips, anonymous phone tips, that 2 or 3 men were seen in the morning of the attack arguing with Michael Hargan outside of his home. Oh. But we know that wasn't true because the evidence says it wasn't, so who cares? Okay. They said that, listen, then the defense attorney says, I need you to put aside your emotions. He literally says this, put aside your emotions and consider that prosecutors were not forthcoming with the facts. Think about that. He's referring to what he calls foreign DNA, which makes it sound like it's from Pakistan and it's smuggled in. Fuck, it's here for nuclear secrets, doesn't it? That's what it sounds like. Foreign DNA. It's got a turban on and it's going to blow up your family.
It's smuggled here in an artifact from Jerusalem.
Yeah, you know how that is. He referred to foreign DNA, which was found on a baseball cap prosecutors said Ernest Lee had left at the crime scene, and to tips that law enforcement that didn't investigate aggressively. So he's saying there was also Ernest Lee's DNA was in the hat, but there was also foreign DNA. So it must be he didn't do it. Other people did it.
There's more DNA on his hat.
Listen, you think it's bad, then we're upset about the murder, sure, but this man had a hat taken from him too. So everybody's been hurt here. Let's just call it a wash and go home. What do you say, y'all?
And it's got DNA with a wink and a nod. You know what we mean.
You know how that goes.
He's got a hat with jizz on it somewhere.
It's a jizz hat. So this jizz hat.
The jizz hat did it.
The jizz hat. Who you find the owner of this jizz hat, you find your killer. I rest my case. Sits down. People just looking around at each other. What the fuck? So the lawyer then said, they're going to ask you to execute that man, but they won't tell you everything.
Okay.
The prosecution, quote, mentioned something about foreign DNA. I didn't make that up. Came from their witnesses. That's what he says, quote, unquote. I didn't make that up. The reports about the van. Eyewitnesses saw a van with 3 white males. I did not make that up. Came from their witnesses. Their investigation. Well, if your alternate suspect is the Black Gangsta Disciples, something tells me there aren't 3 white guys in that fucking gang. Just a thought. Just based on my limited knowledge.
The word black does not insinuate what they wear.
Yeah. Let's let white guys in, I'm sure. That won't change it. So you're getting, and a van now is involved? There's no van. We know where the bodies were. A fucking van is not involved in this. So,
and the only black guy that drives a van is Mr. T.
Yeah,
and the A-Team isn't real.
And they're not real. And most of them are dead. So this goes to the jury.
Yeah.
9 women, 3 men. They deliberate for an hour and a half, which is just enough time to fill out the guilty forms for 3 murder charges, basically, there. So Now, for the murder of Michael, he's found guilty of simple murder.
Oh.
Okay, this is different now, all right? The other ones are capital murder because he did the other two murders to cover his tracks for that murder. So the other two are the death penalty eligible ones.
Oh.
Rebecca and James Patrick, and Michael is the aggravator.
It's the starter, yeah.
Yeah, starter to get aggravated later on. After he's found guilty, the assistant district attorney said, the evidence was overwhelming. We could have convicted him without his statement.
Yeah.
Clearly. Now, the Michael's sister said, quote, Jesus, it's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It's the worst thing most people have ever seen in their life, meaning all the pictures and the details. If this doesn't warrant the death penalty, I don't know what does. Betty Douglas, who's a friend with Ernest Lee, said that she wanted to see him convicted but not executed. She said, I'm just shaken. I guess I'm really sad. I don't think I'm much of a death penalty advocate, and I came to feel that way, maybe through this, maybe seeing all the tragedy and all the people that were hurt, and it's going to bring, and it's not going to bring anybody back.
Right. That's right.
She said, but I know what Rebecca and Michael's family's been through, too. I'm just glad it's not me who has to make those decisions. Mm-hmm. So, sentencing comes around. There's a woman outside the court for this. I got to show you a picture of her. Her name is Darla Thrasher.
Let me see Darla.
Yeah, roll over. I'll give you this quote. And she says, quote, my temper wouldn't let me go in that building, she said. I would have had to say something to him, meaning Ernest Lee. If they bring back the hanging tree, it might stop a lot of this.
Okay.
No, it doesn't. That's not going to happen.
Has nothing to do with it. No,
you
thought he was going to get away with it.
That's the thing. If you think you can get away with it, you're not concerned with what it is. And she's
Hanging
standing.
trees don't scare the shit out of me.
She's standing outside with this
Darla.
sign, with
Good
the worst
Lord,
sign.
What is that?
Well, that's
Evil
a picture
Easter bunny?
of Hargan. Yes, with those are supposed to be horns, but they look like red bunny ears. I guess he's the devil. His eyes are colored red.
She's a bad artist.
He is hanging from a tree.
Yeah.
Looks like she had her 4-year-old draw this.
Right.
And it says Hargan with an arrow pointing to him, as if we didn't know who she was referring to. That's important.
And he's looking at whoever's drawing.
Wow. Yeah, looking right at you. And it says, hang him high. We don't care. He's just taking up our air, with 3 exclamation points.
That is
Darla.
a terrific sign, Darla.
And Darla looks exactly how you'd expect Darla to look.
Yes, she does.
Blonde hair, 50s, looks like she's chewing her face. That's the one.
Blonde hair, dark roots. You know it.
Yeah, you know her. Fuck. So during sentencing, Linda, who is Rebecca's mother, she testified that Rebecca was small as a baby and looked just like her, meaning her mother, her. She said, quote, she became a second mother to my other daughters. She said that my daughter's a very strong spirit, a hard worker. Michael was a wonderful husband, wonderful son-in-law. She says her family does not believe in the death penalty.
Oh.
She told the prosecutor, do what you're going to do. Just do what you want. I'm not going to make that decision. That's up to you. So he went for the death penalty. She said Ernest Lee should experience many years of terror, the same terror James Patrick experienced. He saw his mother die.
She wants him tortured.
She wants him to sit in prison and rot, because that's worse.
I want you guys to take about 6 inches of skin off him every day.
Just a piece, a chunk, or just in prison. Prison sucks. You killed a 4-year-old. Good luck. Enjoy. You know what I mean? So the defense now has to come with some shit, and they're like, okay, here we go. Boy. They bring in colleagues, employers who said that he's a great guy, nice guy, non-confrontational, quiet guy, super nice guy till he became hopelessly addicted to meth. Yeah. One of his friends said, quote, I feel like he could help us if he was in prison for the rest of his life. The fuck is he going to do?
Right.
Anyway, he said that I think there's a lot he could do for a lot of people. Now, the jury deliberates for 4 hours on this one, so it's a little longer here. They do this. They hand down the sentence, and it is you, sir, may fuck off, death penalty for you.
Yes.
Yeah, this is, if there ever is one. He did bad things to a 4-year-old. This is the one. I mean, you say like, well, I mean, if there's a kid involved, and that's when it's all, everybody's like, yeah, well, you know, shit.
It's fascinating because
we're not death penalty. We're not enthusiasts. We're just like, yeah, this guy I'd like to drag behind a fucking truck for a while. Most people,
no,
you don't know if they did it or not.
And he got nothing out of it. Like
that's the other thing. Nothing.
When there's sexual element, you can see like the motivation. There's no motivation in this. Sometimes I see like
I'm mad.
What's worse? It's hard to decide what's worse.
It's horrific. At least the guys who killed Michael's father got $114 out of the fucking shit. Like, this guy got nothing. So
nothing.
The DA says, quote, "I'm not going to be happy to see Ernest Lee Hargan suffer the death penalty, but he earned it."
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. A juror here, Barbara Samuel, she said that the jury in the room listened twice to his taped confession in the Kmart parking lot. She said that he sounded so matter-of-fact in his description of the murders. He showed no remorse. "I have children. This will stay with me forever." Mm-hmm. Just the recording of it disturbed them, of him talking about it, because he didn't give a fuck. Now, the family here, Rebecca's mom, said justice has been served. They gave him the death penalty. And her husband, her dad, Rebecca's dad, said he probably deserves to die. Pretty cruel what he did.
Yeah.
That's an understatement, sir. Yeah. He's being nice. So Jennifer, who is Michael's sister, said after the verdict was given, just seeing the pictures of her brother's family in their makeshift grave and reliving the details and demise was really difficult, but it's a good verdict, a great verdict. Yeah. One of his lawyers, Ernest Lee's lawyers, said, "I'm disappointed. My client has just been sentenced to death." So he's sent to death row at Parchman, which is a prison, and a bad prison down there.
I believe it, yeah.
Michael's sister, Jennifer, 6 months after Ernest is convicted, she dies of an accidental overdose of sleeping pills at age 26. Poor Jennifer. Dude, this family is fucked.
How is that?
Dad murdered. Haywood Jr. dead after a day. Michael murdered. Diana, the mother, colon cancer. Jennifer dead of whole family's dead.
And the son,
everybody,
Michael's
cursed.
son, had 4 years old, had vicious asthma before he was killed.
This poor family's cursed, man. They call them the cursed family and shit. Like they had to be. This is crazy. Like what the fuck?
Accidental overdose of sleeping.
What God did they piss off 2,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago to make this happen? So he's on death row in Parchman. He's in a notorious unit, Unit 32, which is notorious for violence and bad shit going on.
Really?
They store very violent people here. There's a bunch of gangs, and death row is here. So it's a lot of bad people in one area. So August 28th, 2007. He's been in there for like a year.
Somebody heard something, huh?
Well, after feeding time, I like how they call it feeding time.
Yeah.
This is like,
treating them like they're fucking caged animals.
Yeah, I picture like those little pellets you give hamsters or whatever. I guess one of the officers, Benford, made a viewing check and everything was quiet. Ernest Lee was cleaning the tier. He's mopping.
Yeah.
He's the mopper, okay? Like Dahmer. He's mopping. So Hargan here, obviously sentenced to death. He's on death row, but that's his job, is to go mop. So after monitoring everything, this officer, Benford, went to retrieve her isolation logs. The logs that tell you what people are doing. They have to check on them and go, this time sleeping, this time write it down. They have to just say, in case one of them drops dead in there, that they were paying attention. So after a few minutes, this Benford heard a clack sound like a broom or mop hitting the ground.
Yeah.
She's like,
noise. Yeah.
Who's slacking? She turned around and looked in a cell behind her and noticed that a prisoner named Jesse Wilson was not in his cell anymore.
Oh, he's loose.
So she immediately called for help, this Benford. Then she noticed Wilson stabbing Ernest Lee.
Oh, shit.
Stabbing him up. Benford was attempting, they said that Ernest Lee was attempting to defend himself against Wilson as Wilson was raining down stabs with a homemade shank, obviously.
Yeah.
So Benford said that Wilson had a shank which appeared to be a metal object with tape wrapped around it. One of the officers, Walter Hicks, was escorting a different offender in when he heard the radio call that there was an incident. He arrived on the scene, Wilson still stabbing Ernest Lee. He tells Wilson to stop stabbing him, and he does. He drops the shank and stops and returned to his cell. Sure, no problem. That's what they do. Done.
You got
Done
it.
now. That's it. Hands up. Not fighting. That's another charge. Fuck it.
Yeah.
So Officer Hicks went to check on Ernest Lee, and he noticed there was wounds on his head, back, neck, chest, and all over the place.
Yeah.
He was stabbed 30 times, over 30 times,
yes.
all over his face, head, and body. Okay? Paramedics arrive to help him, but he ultimately dies of his wounds.
Jesus.
Bled out on a death row tierced floor. That's how he died. While mopping. They then escorted Wilson to a holding area where Wilson told the officer that he, quote, saved the state millions of dollars because you're going to kill him anyways. That's what he said. Anyways with an S.
Yeah.
That's what he said. So this guy, by the way, was a mess anyway. This Wilson was originally sentenced here for grand larceny.
What?
In 2000, and he was still in 2007 because since his incarceration, he received 98 disciplinary infractions. Wow. These were major infractions, no minors in there. No, got caught with a cigarette. This is all major.
Larceny?
64 of the infractions were violent acts. He had stabbed 3 different correctional officers since he's been here.
Jesus Christ.
This guy is fucking dangerous. After this, they sent him to Supermax in Colorado.
Yeah.
That place with the documentary where that guy killed the guy yelling white power over him. That's where he ended up going.
My God.
He's going to love it there, though, this fucking guy.
He's going
to fit right. This is fucking great.
Guys.
Let's get it on, fuckers. He's going to love it. So
it's like Con Air.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This is where I belong.
Yeah.
So this guy said that the prisoner who's the stabbing here told the cops that he had received a scroll, quote unquote, indicating that some offenders on his tier were out to get him and another inmate named LaMarcus Hilliard. The scroll and the weapon in question were intended to go to another inmate, but went to Wilson instead. Okay? Wilson informed the officer that Ernest Lee himself dropped it off. So Ernest Lee claiming that Ernest Lee dropped off a scroll, a piece of paper, but they roll it up like a scroll because it's easier to pass rather than folding it. So he said he dropped off a scroll with these are people that are pissed off at you and a weapon. And then this guy saying he used the weapon on Ernest Lee, the same guy who dropped it off.
Huh.
So
killed the messenger.
Apparently so. An officer, Avon Latham, who was on Unit 32, testified he was working the night in question. He said that he transported Wilson from his cell to a holding cell. He said that Wilson said Hargan was not the inmate he intended to stab.
Oh, my God.
But, quote, he could not get to that inmate, so he just stabbed Hargan instead.
Just bad luck.
I'm stabbing somebody tonight. I don't know who. If you're not out, the mop guy will do.
The Hargan curse got him.
Dude, it's a curse. I'm telling you. The whole thing's a fucking curse. It got him, too.
Yeah.
They told him, Wilson, the stabber, told the officer about the crime he committed and said that, they said, well, why Hargan? I mean, you couldn't have did you even know him? You couldn't have stabbed me. He goes, well, he was an asshole, too.
Right.
He wasn't the guy I was after, but Hargan would handle food and not wash his hands afterwards, so he could get it too.
Yeah.
That's what he said. I saw him not wash his hands.
Yeah.
So, I mean, wow. Imagine if you could do that at like McDonald's. Just stab a 17-year-old in the face because they didn't wash enough. So he then further reiterated that, I don't know what you're mad about. I saved money by fucking killing this guy. What do you care?
Give me half.
He said, I don't know what you're pissed off about here. So the investigator got a call to come to Unit 32 and obtained the shank in question, and including also got pieces of Wilson's cell door that had been cut out to allow him to escape. This place sucks. Yeah.
What kind of...
Jesus Christ.
This is a prison. This is
a
jail.
max security. He said after securing the scene, the investigator went to the Electronic Surveillance Operations Center and viewed the video of the incident to determine exactly how it took place. Surveillance video showed Wilson's cell door moving a few hours before this. So they didn't notice this for hours that he could come in and out of his cell. They also showed that Wilson opens the door, comes out of his cell, walking down the hallway, and just runs into Hargan and, hey, starts stabbing you. The forensic pathologist who did the autopsy said that they located 37 stab wounds on Hargan, on Ernest Lee, and obviously determined it was homicide. The DA who put Ernest Lee in jail forever and for death said, quote, I thought pretty much Ernest Lee got what he deserved and the type of death he had was appropriate for the pain he inflicted. I'm not encouraging anybody to do that, but I'm not sad it happened.
What?
You
What the
can't
fuck?
say that if you're the district attorney. You can't. You can think it. You can say it to your friend at lunch, but you can't say that if you're the district attorney. You can't
say it to the
encourage
press.
vigilante prison justice. We can't have that. That's not part of it. That's costing us more money when that happens. Stop.
If he wanted to be funny, he could have just said something like, he owed us a debt and he paid it. So I don't know.
That would have been fine.
Fine. Yeah. But got
he
what he
went-
deserved.
He went another level. I'm not encouraging anybody to do that, but I'm not sad it happens. Says to me, go ahead and stab people in jail.
I'm not sad at
Fuck out of here. So in court, Wilson, they bring in the guy who stabbed him. They bring in a psychiatrist who say he is bipolar and has, quote, intermittent explosive disorder. As a layman, I would agree with that. From where we sit, I'd go, yeah, that's what I would call it.
Certainly.
They find him guilty of murder.
Yeah.
And he is sentenced to, you, sir, may also fuck off, life in prison. He's in there for stealing something. And he never got out. Ever. Went in 2000 for stealing some shit. Never got out.
He just went in and just upped his sentence every day.
Yep. So that's fucked, man. So there's some prison reform that they want to come from this. They said that Unit 32, Wilson had ties to the Latin King gang, and they said Hargan had no known gang ties, anything like that, but they were going to make some changes to the way the department screens to root out gang influence among corrections officers. That's the problem. The officers are members of these fucking gangs.
Right. Yeah.
So, and that happens a lot, yeah. And then they, or if it's in a place where they're from, they know some of these guys from the street. They know them from the neighborhood. It's very easy for them to go, hey, if you sneak this in for me, I'll give you a few bucks, and then you got them on the hook. So they said 2 Parchman correction officers were fired earlier that month because they had ties to the Gangster Disciples, which is the gang that Hargan's father's murderers were in here. They said there, and this area is where they get a lot of their officers, and a lot of their officers are because they can't find better jobs because they're poor, which is why they're in a street gang. So this is what you end up with here. So the commissioner vowed to spend millions of dollars to make improvements. They added an X-ray and drug detection machine to the metal detector that guards must pass through. So extra security for the guards. Just now thought of that. An additional 50 security cameras would be installed at the prison, and approval to spend $1.8 million to add full metal doors to replace the open bars on the cells. And guards will be prohibited from bringing food or drinks onto the unit as well, because they can sneak shit in there. And they said, I think what we're doing in Supermax is we're taking some bad folks and we're making them even worse. We're making them even meaner. He said the biggest regret was building the Supermax unit at Parchman. That's one of the supervisors. He said this is fucked. We don't.
It's a bad
they're
place
just
to have this. Yeah.
because this is the 3rd prisoner murdered in the last year.
Oh my God.
So they said this is too much. Like we can't have this shit. It's not working because then there's a lot of money. Even if you don't give a fuck about the people, it costs a lot of fucking money. So the one guy said, one of the people in charge said, yeah, the ACLU's up our ass. This isn't even about them. We fucked up the consent decree to get federal dollars. We didn't have our prison up to standards. So fuck the ACLU. We're screwed. So so they're in there. The murder house, twice intended, burn that fucking thing to the ground.
Yeah.
That is a cursed house. Apparently, as of a few years ago, it still sat empty, surrounded by barbed wire.
Wow.
They put fences with barbed wire around it to keep out gawkers.
Weirdos.
And,
Yeah.
like they changed OJ's address. It's one of those.
Yeah, the John Bonet house is the only house on the street with fucking fencing.
Totally. They said, quote, this is from an article, on a recent afternoon, the place was eerily still. A large hawk swooped down onto the dead grass behind the house, the leaves of a few cedar trees, the only green in the dull winter landscape. It's like a giant cemetery monument to them, Diana Hargan once wrote of the site. Just down the narrow road, Catherine Hargan Alexander can stand on her front porch, look through the pecan trees across a field, and see the home in the distance. Somehow it comforts her. This land has been in her family for generations. Quote, sometimes I tear up and I have to stop and think, who am I tearing up about? We've lost so many.
So many.
So many. And then Rebecca's sister, Elizabeth, we'll give her the last word here. She said, for 2 years, we've spent our time being angry. The anger has been targeted at Ernest Lee. This is after he's dead.
Yeah.
Now my time will be spent remembering Rebecca, Michael, and James Patrick. So that, everybody, is Vaughan, Mississippi. And one fucking hell of a crazy, twisted, wild story. That shit was crazy. It had roots.
I can't believe it ended.
Yes. Yeah, you think it's good. What now? What now? I want more.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
It's got roots like a tree in an abandoned house.
Yeah, it absolutely does. It's fucking crazy. So there you go, everybody. That's Vaughan, Mississippi. If you like that story or anything else that we do, please get on whatever app you are listening on and give us 5 stars. It does help a lot, helps drive us up the charts, which is very, very helpful, more than you know. It's the lifeblood of a podcaster, so thank you for doing that. Also, follow us on social media. We are at Small Town Murder on Instagram, at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook. Right. So find that. You can find all that information, though, at shutupandgivememurder.com.
Yeah, what else?
Where you can get tickets to live shows. All the shows through July and all that, they're all sold out right now. The next show you can find tickets for is going to be Chicago, August the 12th. And that's going to be our biggest show ever if you guys come fill us up. So come with it, Chicago. I know it's a few months away, but get your tickets in there because a lot of other places are sold out. Boston's sold out in November. And D.C.'s almost sold out, and that's in November, too. We have Dallas in December, which is also selling a lot. We have Charlotte, Atlanta, and Philly. Those are the shows that you can get tickets for. Everything else is sold out. Right. So shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your merch while you're in there, too, well. And you definitely want Patreon because good shit. Do you want to hear more? I think so. You want bonus episodes? Sure. Anybody $5 a month or above, you get access to everything. All the bonus stuff we put out, and there's over 200 episodes or almost 200 episodes in the back catalog of those that you can binge immediately, and then you're going to get 2 new ones every other week, 1 Crime and Sports, 1 Small Town Murder, and you get it all. Right. And this week, what you're going to get for Crime and Sports, we're going to talk about the Stairway to Stardom, which is a public access television show in New York on in the 80s, and it's a crazy talent search show. Want to hear an Indian guy sing New York, New York? Of course you do. Of fucking course you do. We're going to play all sorts of crazy clips of people's terrible singing and talk about the hosts, which is funny too. It's so much fun. Can't wait for that. Then for Small Town Murder, Prisoner Dating Game time. The all-violent felon edition. No good decisions here. We line up 4 young men, 4 young ladies. Well, they don't have to be young. They're of all ages, and you never know.
Are people.
4 people, 4 bachelors, 4 bachelorettes. They have 2 things in common. 1, Jimmie is choosing amongst them. And 2, they are all incarcerated for violent felonies. I'm going to read Jimmie just their profiles, what they're pitching to you as a dating person, and he's going to pick one of each based on that. Then comes the fun part because we get to find out what they did and exactly how terrible of a decision Jimmie just made. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Prisoner fucking dating game. It's on, baby. We can't wait. So
what else do you get?
That's what you also get a shout out, damn it. At the end of the show, it's going to come up in 1 second. But before the shout outs, keep an eye out. We're looking at June 5th, hopefully, as our launch day for your stupid opinions, and they won't come out a week early either. They're just going to come out every week, not like the other two. So it's going to be on Monday morning, so we're hoping Monday, June 5th in the morning, you'll have that show. If not, the next week. It's a business thing just to work out when the feed's set up and all that. We have the show ready. It's just, we got to do that. So that'll be a lot of fun. Check that out. And now I think it's time. Jimmie.
All right.
Tell me the names of the people, please, 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 who would never stack my family on top of me and bury me. Please, Jimmie, hit me with that list right fucking now.
This week's executive producers are Travis Nunez and his wife Lola's 3rd anniversary. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You stuck it out.
Hey,
3
you made
years.
it.
That's successful already.
That's almost 2 decades. That's great.
Catherine Kokra, happy birthday, and thank you so much. Concra. Catherine Concra. I think that's you're amazing. Thank you, truly.
Happy birthday with your unpronounceable name.
Very kind donation. Also, Larry Butterfast and his glorious beard. He's not going to make it to a show this year because we're not in
we're not in SoCal anywhere on the West Coast, really.
Yeah, really just San Diego.
San Diego, that's right.
Christine Lee Gomez, she's on vacation in the DR. Enjoy yourself. And not to bring you down too much, but one of the strongest people I have ever met in my entire life, Allie Grimes, passed away, and it super affected me the last few weeks. You guys, I created a GoFundMe for her and Ezra because she was traveling to Phoenix to get treatment for her cancer, and she was incredibly young, but she was so sweet. She passed away, but thank you guys so much for donating. Yeah, remember we met them at Sacramento?
I remember. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I remember them well. Absolutely. She had murder pants on.
Yeah.
They were cool as fuck. Yeah, they were really cool people.
But you guys gave her and Ezra much more time together than they would have had. And so thank you. It's fucking amazing. You guys are great people. And Ezra, you're in my thoughts, bud. Other producers this week: Long Duck Dong and his Argyle sweater, the handsome Gorilla Monsoon, Rabbi Shmulovich's renewed vows with Shitta Perlman, Peyton Meadows, Georgia Lipton, Scott Atanasio, Janice Hill, Mason Whitlock, Becca Lafferty, Renee Mazier, Catherine Watts, Alex Carroll, Lexus Wheating, Hyuding. All right. Cody, a.k.a. Timmy. Martin Henderson, Michael Jaspers, Alex Keys, Brian Kimball, Tabitha Cates, Helen Larson, Matt Brandon, Dan Rutkowski, and Sheehan, Kyle Hamlin, Connor Cox, Ezra Kushmal, Elizabeth Carbonaro. Hey, that's a dish. Jessica Seeley, Bradley Freeman, Jasmine H. Yasmin, maybe. Caitlin with no last name. Ryan Bender, Matthew Duhlman, Lily Brandstrom. Yep, Becky Johnston, Christina Herdrick, Robert LeBeau, Bob LeBeau, Scott Mitchell.
Bobby B.
Probably not that one, right? V with no last name, just the letter V. Jacob Brown, Nicole with no last name, Rebecca Ramirez, Jeremy Reel, Les Levine, Megan Kenyon, Trey Spencer, Lauren H., Jessica Lloyd, Nico Sanchez, Michael Robinson, Susan Mazur, Jacob Murney, Ruth Cottrell, Jen Gay, Zoloft Pony, that's fun. Levi Cleland, Ray Lopez, Abby Rogers, Mitchell Lawson, Nico Sanchez, Jen McSee, Crystal Slaughter, Miranda with no last name, Amanda with no last name, Sarah Millington, Saray? What did I do? That's a misspell. That's Sarah Millington, Michelle with no last name, Caitlin Harris, Monique.
She can call herself Saray if she wants.
Monique Archuleta, Colton Hoffman, Rachel Wellman, Frank Schwartz, Calvin Fishburne, Renee Garner, Natalie Brown, Ochoa 88, D Daly 94, Asia Andruskiuk. Sorry, Asia. Zach Ballinger, Linda Loves Linda, Emily R.R.C., Riri C., Mason Newton, Jeremiah Bankston, Tom Farah, Nick German's Giant Schlong. I don't believe you. Hope Moore, Brant Graham, Dawana Dooley, Travis Durrett, Clarissa with no last name, Jen H., Monica with no last name, Tiffany Reyna Robinette, Blanca, Bianca. It's Bianca. Pet Q. Amber Schultz, Tina Rodriguez, Sherry Stone, Brian Meacham, Sage Atterbury, Tom with no last name, Mr. Shatterlaw, Luminous Brandon, Kimberly Platt, it's just an L, Michelle Dyer, Jennifer Schellenberg, Amy Boswell, Elizabeth Purcell Snyder, Marcy Campbell, Marty Lopez, Nick Haupt, Martine Harris, Nicole Borisov.
Or Martin, one of the two.
Could be. It's an I. There's an E on the end. That's definitely Martine, right?
Okay.
It might be Martina, and I typed an E, and it should be an A.
Yeah, that's
who fucking
possible.
knows?
Anything's possible.
They're wonderful people.
You know who you are, motherfucker.
Nicole Borisov, I think I said that. Bob Reed, Brandy Maddox, Jordan Kornreich, Jackie Mack.
The Reich of Corn.
Holly Chase. Bartender Joe Boo needs a refill. Joe Boo. Who's Joe Boo?
Fucking
Joe
Major
Boo.
League.
Fuck you, Joe Boo.
Yeah, I say fuck you, Joe Boo.
Ryan Dunn, Austin Riblet, Jeremy Armand, Emily Jedlicki, Rachel Johnson, Red Knots 420, Jade Linton, Lauren Montgomery, Courtney Yayo Man, Jody Bates, that's an easy one. I think I know. Yeah, that is Jody Bates. Kimberly Miller, Jody. Chandler Christopherson, Amy Fitzgerald, Lauren Reagan, Jesse Booth, Kenneth Coulter, Missy with no last name, Chet Hawley Jr., Ramon Andrade, Tracy Hansen, So Real. That's a good one, I guess. Melissa Daly, Karen Aronson, Pat Schlusterot, School Astra.
Wow.
Huey Francis. Dawn would know.
swings at that
Huey. Huey. What? All right. Dawn would know last name. Ashley Can. Con, maybe. Sylvia Olivares. Brianna Hoffer. To cousin. Paulie Crinklecuts.
Hey.
Maybe it's your cousin, I don't know. Carl Hess, Lord Connor, Denise Carter, Heroes with no last name, Misty Bailey, Jimmie Faust, Kate and Kate's mom, Tyler, Michael Burrows, Tyler with no last name, Michael Burrows, Joshua Richard, Lisa with no last name, Lance Zeppelin, Michelle Mandel, Faith Stevison, Kate Sanders, SW, Rebecca Wood, Boaters Wani. That's got to be a... What is that? Is that a miss? All right. Donna Ogden, Abby Smith, and all of our patrons. Obviously, you're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, folks, so much for all that you do for us. Honestly, we can't do anything without you. We appreciate it. Thank you, Patreon people. You are the fucking shit, and we hope you love. We hope you love what we're putting out for you. We really do, because we love doing it. So thank you for doing all that. And if you want to follow us on social media and say hi, you can do that very easily. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Look in the links. They're there. There's links to everything. You can follow the show while you're at it. Get tickets, grab a T-shirt, do it all, and keep coming back, because until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
It takes one guy out there to say, who's that Kyle who thinks he can just get on a microphone on a podcast and start publicizing this?
From iHeart Podcasts and Tenderfoot TV comes a new true crime podcast, Crook County.
I got recruited into the mob when I was 17 years old.
Meet Kenny, an enforcer for the legendary Chicago outfit.
And that was my mission, to snuff the life out of this guy.
He lived a secret double life as a firefighter-paramedic for the Chicago Fire Department.
I had a wife and I had 2 children. Nobody knew anything.
People are dying. Is he doing this every night?
Torn between 2 worlds.
I'm covering up murders that these cops are doing.
He was a freaking crazy man.
We don't know who he is, really.
He is my father, and I had no idea about any of this until now. Welcome to Crook County. Available now. Listen for free on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.